You are looking live. Sorry for the delay, folks, but you are looking live.
Welcome to the NFL Today with Brett Musburger.
I got my Illini colors on today.
Oh.
For David, for the Big Ten.
With the travel that we have this year, I'd take multiple trips to Champaign. My goodness.
Right you would. Where are you going this week?
Actually, Purdue.
Okay.
So.
The GD Home Company.
Yep.
They going to do something with the band for Gary? I'm not messing around. They should. He's an alum.
I was told they're doing something, but I don't know if it's Friday at a luncheon. I don't know if it's game day. I don't know, but supposedly they're doing something, but
you're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Thursday and on this fateful day in American history. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. How are you, Mark, on this September 11th?
You know what? I'm good. And as you said that in the beginning, this fateful day in our nation's history, which is obviously incredibly accurate, it's strange for me because obviously we all remember it. We all remember it very well. I have an 11-year-old. She's taught about it in school. That's bizarre to me. Like that's the part, obviously she's 11. She wasn't alive. Right. She wasn't close to being alive. My son doesn't remember any of it. He was 2, I believe, not even 2. So those are the things now as you kind of think back, and those who didn't experience how they're taught it, what they're taught. And that we don't do politics on the show, and we're not going to do it. I'm not going to bore you with it. But when you say that, those are the things that start flying through my brain, if you know what I mean.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, and I don't think anybody will mind us talking about this subject for a few moments anyway, before we get very frivolous and talk about sports. So I'm watching the evening news yesterday, which I don't always do, but I'm watching it. And one of the stories that they had was, how do they teach September 11th in the schools today? And what is it they're, And so I'm curious, either your son or your daughter or both, what they have said to you and your wife over the years as to, what it is they were taught. How was it presented to them? I'm curious, were they shown the video, or is it just something in a textbook?
And I'll find out today, because I believe my daughter said they are watching some sort of a movie or, documentary type thing on it. And I don't know, but she, because when we do Today Was the Day When. A lot of our audience doesn't get the final hour, and some of our audience that does isn't listening all the way through. It's something that David and I talked about for a long time, and we incorporated into a little segment at the end of the show. And so typically when my daughter comes home from school, she starts doing her homework at the kitchen table. And I'm like, you know what? Why don't I knock out Today Was the Day When right now? We both sit down, quiet time, and I can get my work done for tomorrow morning. And, she just looked at me and she was, tomorrow, September 11th, Daddy. And I'm like, yes, it is. She goes, yeah, we're going to talk about it in school. And I'm like, what are you going to talk about? And she didn't really know, but it was just fascinating, for lack of a better word, that something that I can't take out of my head still. We all remember exactly where we were, what we were doing, and the things that you did then after. And my son had just been born. I was still married to my first wife. And I remember my first wife freaking out because she's like, you got to turn the news off. It's going to, it's going to affect him. I'm like, he's one. We're watching the blankety blanket news, okay? I don't know what to tell you. So I just, when she asks those questions, it's, if she asks, I'll tell her everything she wants to know. But when I pick her up today, it's not going to be about math or language arts. It's going to be, what did you guys talk about today?
Right. I'll be very curious as to how it was presented to her today in class. Arch in our Twitch chat room, recent college grads were not yet born.
Right.
All right. And our parents had the same thoughts about the JFK assassination. Ryro teaches 7th grade. He commented in our Twitch chat room, very strange to me to wrap my head around the fact that, the kids I'm teaching, okay, they don't have a clue about this, and I got to teach them. So,
a lot on you, sir. I'll tell you that much. That's a lot. That's a heavy load on you.
Yes, it is. And
I don't mean that with anything more than the utmost respect, sir. I really don't.
And, do you show a documentary? Do you, or do you just talk about it? And I'm curious, for that matter, is it in current textbooks? I mean, I don't know, when you were going to school, did you ever question how old the textbooks were?
I'm thinking, I put it this way. Obviously, you and I grew up in a different era, different generation, but we didn't learn about Vietnam in school.
No, not really.
I was born in the late 60s. I went to, I started grade school in 75 or whatever it was. So we didn't learn about Vietnam. I don't ever remember studying Vietnam. Now, I remember my son had a high school class about Vietnam. He loved it. He had a great professor or a great teacher, and he thought it was a fascinating class, but that's not something we were taught. They didn't know how to teach about it yet.
Coffin Ball said he was a freshman, all right, at South Florida. And he was in calculus class when it happened. Ooh, so he had an 8 a.m., 8:30 class. They canceled classes, and I ended up watching everything from my dorm. So there you go. But as you said, it is one of those, December 7th, November 22nd, September 11th, the 3 days in which, for some, Challenger, but, those 3 very noteworthy days in our 20th and 21st century history as a country. And I think we should all take a moment or two today and remember. Next year, it'll be next year will be big. It'll be our nation's 250th, and it'll be 25 years.
And everything's going along so swimmingly right now. Let's get back to sports.
Yes.
How about the night in baseball?
Boy, how about those Tigers, huh? How about those Phillies?
One inning a night seems to be good enough for them, David.
Man, are the Yankees playing slow pitch softball? They're giving up 11 runs a night. This in slow pitch softball, sometimes a run an inning is that you can still win games if you give up a run an inning on average. But it's tough to do it giving up 9, 10, 11 in Major League Baseball. It really is.
It is, but some big losses last night in baseball. The great series between Houston and Toronto. Toronto scores 2 in the 8th to tie. Houston wins it in the top of the 9th. Big game because, Boston and New York both lost. So would have been an opportunity for those teams to gain ground on the Jays. Houston holds off Seattle and Texas for another night because Texas is playing lights out baseball. It's getting right down to it. It's getting fun, David.
A streak was snapped yesterday, and we never talked about it at any point in time during the streak. And maybe I may be making too much of this streak, but had you at any point in time in the last 7 weeks learned of what Aroldis Chapman was doing for the Red Sox?
No.
I heard about it last week for the first time, listening to MLB Network Radio. And I was like, wow, really? And yet forgot to ever bring it up on the show. Mark, Aroldis Chapman took the loss for the Red Sox yesterday. He gave up a run in the ninth, and the A's beat Boston 5-4.
Magic numbers 5 for the A's, everybody.
Well, it's got to be close to that for the Reds, too, okay?
It is 5 each. Yes! Let's effing go!
We love winning our over-unders, ladies and gentlemen, but that's a Miller and Moulton thing. So back to Aroldis Chapman. Mark, not only had Aroldis Chapman not given up a run in a very long time, Mark, he had not allowed a hit since July 23rd.
Damn.
A hit.
Damn.
Now, I understand he usually comes in and, pitches an inning at a time. We all get that. In fact, I believe yesterday, Mark, was his 17th appearance. He had retired 50 consecutive batters. Think about that. That's almost 2 perfect games.
That's amazing. I mean, because you said not a hit, that also means not a walk.
No, I think it was a hitless streak.
Okay, all right.
So he may have walked somebody.
Okay,
so
regardless, that's incredibly impressive because it's 2 no-hitters almost, not 2 perfect games. And I'm not trying to mince words here, but
that's true.
Still incredible. He
had not given up a hit since July 23rd. That's 7 weeks. 7 weeks. Nothing off the end of the bat, didn't break a bat and, find a hole, didn't groove one and somebody was, first pitch swinging. Nothing. 7 weeks, 17 appearances. He's in his mid-30s. I mean, remember, Aroldis Chapman was Cubs closer when they won it, 9 years ago. Big acquisition. And now here he is in his mid-30s. But anyway, streak snapped yesterday. But how about that? It was apparently, Mark, since the turn of the 20th century. So since 1901, it was the 3rd longest streak in Major League history over the last 125 years.
That's remarkable. And it also talks about how, when you look at that combined with the fact of where the Red Sox were a couple months ago, where they are now, that has a lot to do with it. They're winning those close games. They didn't last night, but since then, there was a while back. I'm guessing when this started, they were probably out of the playoffs.
Well, think about it. It was a week before the deadline.
Yeah.
And what were we thinking about the Red Sox a week before the deadline? Well, I don't know. They could be in, could be out. Not sure. Probably won't make the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. And you're right. Promoted some young kids, and they started winning all the close games in part because, their closer was beyond lights out. So that's all. Just wanted to, since we went frivolous, we went from serious to frivolous. I at least wanted to, go the top end of frivolous.
Very good. Very good. But there is an NFL game tonight. The Commanders and the Packers, albeit a pretty good one. Thursday night crept up on me, David. I'm driving to work this morning. I said, I'll be damned. We've got a football game to talk about today. Plus, we've got a couple of great football guests to talk to as well. Roy Cummings will join us at 8 o'clock to talk about the Bucs, and JP Shadrick to go Duval at 9 on Miller and Moulton. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters. Floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So if Billy Guerin didn't leak out the news, and what's-his-face's agent didn't leak out the news, who leaked out the news?
Oh, that the Wild player turned down.
Yeah, the biggest contract in league history. Yeah, biggest AAV and most money ever.
Yeah. I'll bet you it was the owners, because I thought I read an article Friday or Saturday before our college football game, and I was just killing time, in which I think it was in The Athletic, in which the Wild, I thought it was their owner or one of their owners, who said, yeah, I think we're close to getting this done. Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Wow. Just 16 mil a year. No, I'm good. What?
Right.
In hockey?
Right.
I mean, don't laugh. I mean, that's in the ballpark of what I think McDavid is going to get, or at least would have till yesterday. Golly. And Puck, let him know you heard about him through us. That'd be great. Thank you.
And by chatting in here, you do, because one of the Twitch room chatters every morning is the person who handles Glass Doctor. I won't even say your name, but I know who you are. I know who you are.
Got our eyes on you.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Some of the baseball races tightening up, especially for wild card spots, although goodness knows you got, one division separated by a game, another by 3. But baseball season winding down, about 2.5 weeks left. Mark, not only do we have NFL action tonight, we have a college game tonight. I mean, you can get a whole quarter of college football in before the NFL kicks off. Just saying, little ACC action. 2 middle to bottom third teams, I think. But there's a little college football tonight. Little NC State, Wake Forest action.
Yeah, one bottom of the mid, one in the bottom. Because NC State's not good, and they're a 7.5-point favorite on the road, which leads me to believe Wake's in the bottom of that conference.
Yes. So, but anyway, little 7:30 college football action before the 8:15 Amazon. By the way, remember when Amazon first got their hands on Thursday Night Football, how bad the schedule was? Al Michaels openly complaining during the broadcasts about how bad their schedule is, how bad their games are. And granted, Al came from the perspective of he had done Monday Night Football for a long time. Then he did Sunday Night Football for a long time. So, Al was getting primo games for a long time. And then all of a sudden, Al had the Thursday night Amazon schedule. Hello. But, Amazon, as all the networks do, they go to New York and they lobby their case. And they're like, hey, come on, man, we need better games. Check out Amazon's schedule this year. I would argue Amazon's schedule is better than Monday Night Football schedule. There are some really good Thursday night games. They gave them a lot of division games. How about this non-division game? Give them Commanders, Packers.
I mean, 2 playoff teams from a year ago, the young, hot quarterback in Washington and Green Bay, the talk of the league right now. That's a pretty good game, week 2.
And their first game. Yeah. So I know, for some Thursday might be a little early. And, you haven't put it on your schedule, or it's on Amazon and you're not a subscriber. I get it. I do. I will say, for a lot of us who take in a lot of football, I sense that you usually end up sacrificing one Thursday or Monday. How many of you do both? Or how many of you are like, no, man, I do Thursday, but by Sunday night, I'm done. By Monday, I'm like, oh, man, I'm tired. Or do you not do Thursday and you go hard Saturday, Sunday, and Monday's the dessert.
Well, I'm the weird one in this. If I could get rid of one of the primetime games, and look it, I'm well aware that none of the primetime games are going away. Okay.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
I would want Sunday Night Football to go away.
Ooh.
I'm fine with one game on Thursday and one game on Monday, but I do want to have some semblance of a life. I would like to talk to my family a little bit. And by the time I've watched games Thursday night, all day Saturday, most of the day Sunday, when Sunday night comes, it's like, really? Can I just decompress my football brain for a little bit? Hell, now we've usually got a decent college game on Friday night.
Yeah, Fox is trying.
Yeah, they are.
They're trying.
And if the NFL had their way, there would be a primetime game on 7 days a week. And some of you are out there listening going, Miller, you're nuts. Give me a game on Tuesday. You'll probably get one next year on Wednesday from Australia because they cannot play a Friday night game opening weekend of the NFL because of the National Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961. Hello.
I don't know if I want us, and by us, I mean Monday Night Football. I don't know if I want us to get Australia or not. Okay, I keep going back and forth on that. Like, do I want Brazil or not? Obviously Mexico City's not a problem. Okay, it's quite frankly, it takes about as long to get to Mexico City for me in Florida as it does to get to the West Coast. I mean, really, it's not that bad. You fly to Dallas and then you go south, or fly to Houston and go south.
If you end up getting Australia, I am going to lobby hard, and I'm not kidding, for not only for you to be excited about it, but for you to take that week off from the show. And I'm not kidding. Like, we'll find someone to fill in for a week. They're paying for you to go to Australia. Go see Australia for a couple of days. I'm not messing around here. How many opportunities will you ever get to do something like that? And if so, if your wife can't go, take your daughter. If she can't go, take that son-in-law, and you two can go take in an Aussie rules football game. I don't know how just to see the damn guy in that suit looking like a pencil doing the two arms. I mean, come on.
I miss the guy, and man, those shorts were tight.
Everything, the Jack, everything about that was tight.
Yes. I mean, it's kind of like, hey, you guys didn't watch the Fab Five, did you? It's okay to have baggy clothes. Oh man, they missed that in Australia, at least back in the day.
Now I'll hold down the fort for a week. If you get that call, you make it happen, and you take in that country, because you're never going to get a chance to go back.
What's the time difference? 12,
16 hours,
something like that. Oh, it'd be like, oh, that'd be great though. It'd be like 10 o'clock at night doing this show.
And you do it too, because that's just who you are.
Well, but also I might do it and be a little impaired.
Right. We'd get you for an hour or two.
Yeah, probably get me to the midway point.
I'll give you a how the heck are you, and I'm going to go get myself another Foster's, and we'll call it a day.
Right. I'd probably be able to do it till the guests. I'd be able to do it till about midnight. They'd be like, Mark, why don't you take it from here? I'm going to call it a night.
I like it. That's down the road. We've got Commanders and Packers tonight. The Packers are 3.5-point favorites. They are, I don't ever look at NFL power polls because I don't care. There is nothing more meaningless than an NFL power poll. But after week one, the Packers have been anointed. They really have. They may have been before the game against the Lions when they traded for Micah Parsons. The league is high on the Packers. The media people are high on the Packers. Jordan Love was great against the Lions. Their offensive line was even better. Detroit didn't sniff him. And I don't know how much better Washington's pass rush is than Detroit's. So if Jordan Love can sit back there and have his nails done, he's going to carve some people up.
I think what will be displayed tonight is just how bad the Giants' offensive line is, because the Packers have they definitely have a good and at their best, a very good offensive line. I don't think Washington is going to be all over Jordan Love the way they were all over Russell Wilson. So, we wondered we wondered in college football, Mark, which of the young quarterbacks that were being handed the keys to the marquee franchises at Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan, we know the list, Alabama, etc., or inexperienced, young and or inexperienced, Oregon even. How would they perform? Who would pick up where the other guy left off? Well, that was kind of our question about Green Bay. And we're only 1 week in, and obviously they answered every question. But the Packers, third year in a row, they're the youngest team in the league. Yet they've had a core of 25, 30 guys who have been there. Now this is their third year in a row with Jordan Love as the guy. Okay. And it's like, man, if they all, if they all blossom together, if they can take it from being good, which is what they were last year, and man, if they can take it one full level, then they're a championship contender. Miller and Moulton, the starting five is next. Roy Cummings and JP Shadrick on the show. Thanks for listening.
When you're craving the real taste of Chicago, there's only one name to know. Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell them Miller and Moulton sent you.
Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, your home for all the football and baseball that September provides, plus a nightly food special. Got bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays, live music Fridays, karaoke Saturdays. Never mind the fact that Shoeless Joe's is going to celebrate Grandparents' Day, National Hot Dog Day, National Cheeseburger Day, all in the month of September. Food and drink specials during every NFL game. Shoeless Joe's, the official home for Ohio State football. Shoeless Joe's, good food, good times, good sports in the Doubletree by Hilton. Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers. So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters. Floormeisters.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
So a 14-hour difference. That means it would start at 8 p.m. Do I have that right? Am I doing my math right?
Yeah.
So 8 p.m. to midnight.
Right.
God dang, that's funny.
Let's
That's your perfect time slot, David.
liquor it up, happy hour, and then let's do a show. You'll have control of the board. You'll be like, yeah, I just got to turn him down. I won't even tell him, but just he's slurring his words. I'll get back to him in a moment.
That's
maybe I'll let him do the starting five. I don't know.
And when you open the starting five with Australian rules football scores.
Right. Down under.
Brisbane took down Melbourne today, 52-48.
And in cricket.
Yeah. It's like my wife really wants to go to Ireland. We have to figure out a way to get there in the near future. But it's like, I don't have any desire to see a soccer game in Ireland. I want to see that hurling. That's their sport. I want to see, Irish people going nuts over a sport that I don't understand at all. I'm going to have to get a new laptop pretty soon. This thing's on its last legs.
It's so funny you say that. I need one too. And it is a bummer to me because, we've got it set up where I literally just hit one key and this comes up and I hit one key and this, and it's what I need to do the show. And you know how much of a technological idiot I am. So that's my biggest concern. I'm like, oh man, I got this thing perfectly set up.
Yep. Then you got to, not to mention all the passwords you probably have in there that are saved. And sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you.
Of course, I don't remember any of them.
None.
Golly.
Because if I don't have mine plugged, like my laptop is really not a laptop anymore. It has to be plugged in to work. The battery does not hold a charge. And it's like, all right, it is what it is. Had it for, I think I bought this one when we started before we did Swartzel. Before we went over there in the mornings. Like this is that old. So that's
2019, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's time.
Well, no.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. Thanks for being with us on this September 11th. And we encourage you to take at least one moment today. Pause, remember, talk about it. All right? Talk about it with your family if you need to. Friends, September 11th. Not much more needs to be said. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Roy Cummings, JP Shadrick to join us later on in the show to talk Bucs and Jags. We got football tonight. Let's get to it. Time for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
Brought to you in part by Shula Show Sports Cafe in the Doubletree by Hilton, Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers. Thursday Night Football, you ready? Amazon style. Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit will be at Lambeau tonight. The Packers hosting the Commanders. Green Bay a 3.5-point favorite. Both teams won their openers at home. Both playoff teams from a year ago. Both have good young quarterbacks. They may have great young quarterbacks. Might be worth your time. 8:15 scheduled kickoff on Amazon. Other NFL news. He looks like the guy next door, right? That you want your daughter to, marry. He looks like your next door neighbor who just is going about their 9-to-5 job. Brock Purdy is tough. All right. Brock Purdy, if you listen to the Niners, he's probably not playing this Sunday. He may not play for a couple, 2-3 Sundays, apparently. He's got a left shoulder injury and he's got a toe injury. And it happened during the second quarter of the Seattle game on Sunday, and obviously played right through it, and he led the team down the field late for the game-winning score. But Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan said he's doubtful for Sunday against the Saints. When asked could he miss multiple games, he answered, quote, "It's possible," unquote. Remember, Mac Jones, the backup in San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan, a big fan of Mac Jones. Just keep that in mind. Cowboys suffered a bad break. Monday they practiced, and cornerback Deron Bland, who just signed a big 4-year contract extension at like $23 million a year. Yeah, he hurt his right foot. Going to miss at least 2 weeks. Remember, the other corner's still working his way back. He just started practicing a week or so before the opener. So big injury for the Cowboys early. Good news for them is they face the Giants this week. Chiefs wide receiver Xavier Worthy. You remember the Friday game in Brazil when Travis Kelce took him out on a crossing pattern? Yeah, he's doubtful for Sunday late afternoon in the Super Bowl rematch against the Eagles. Kelce saying the blame's on me. Well, Worthy missed most of the Friday night loss, and it looks as if he's going to miss the Sunday game as well. So that's no Rashee Rice and no Xavier Worthy for essentially the first 2 games of the year if this comes to fruition.
Right. Hollywood Brown better be big.
College football tonight. NC State at Wake Forest, 7:30 on the 4-letter network. The Wolfpack a 7.5-point favorite. Other college football news, UCF being very vague with offensive line coach Sean Clark's status. He was hospitalized for, quote, a medical emergency, unquote. They will not release any other information. Missouri lost their starting quarterback for the season, as it turns out. He got hurt very early in the opener. Sam Horn did. Broken right tibia. That's the lower part of your leg. He is out for the year. We told you a couple weeks ago about Indiana cornerback Luis Moore. Well, it turns out his hearing, which was originally scheduled for before their opener, now he's already played 2 games for the Hoosiers, and he's going to get to play 2 more because the hearing's been pushed back 2 more weeks. Moore suing the NCAA, seeking another year of eligibility, which I think in his case would be his 6th.
That's correct.
Yeah. The 2 games that he will get to play in this week, Indiana State, no biggie. The next one is home for Illinois, which is actually a key game, as the Big Ten teams, if you believe that Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, in whatever order, are all 3 playoff teams, then the rest of them are lobbying to be number 4 and to hopefully be better than the SEC's number 4. So there you have it. Let's go to baseball. The Tigers got 3 RBIs from former Yankee Gleyber Torres, and they hit 3 homers, and they pounded the Yanks 11-1. Second game in a row, they scored 11 on the Yankees.
First time the Tigers have won a season series from the Yankees since 2011.
Which is remarkable because, the Tigers had a good run there from 2006 through like 2013 or 14, but then again, the Yankees have been the Yankees. Detroit's lead's 9.5. Their magic number is 8. So the Yankees don't pick up ground on the Jays, and neither do the Red Sox. Aroldis Chapman, who hadn't given up a run in 7 weeks, did. And the A's beat Boston in the 9th, 5-4. So the Red Sox and Yankees remain 3 games behind the Jays because the Jays saw Yanier Diaz of the Astros homer in the 9th to break a 2-2 tie. Houston with the win 3-2. Houston leads the West by 1. Toronto leads the East by 3. The reason Houston's lead is only 1 is because Seattle won their 5th straight. Leo Rivas with a game-winning 2-run homer in the 13th. Tough to play 13 innings in modern baseball with that whole put a runner on second deal. Mariners 4-2 over St. Louis. Seattle's only a game behind the Astros, but then again, they're only a game and a half ahead of Texas for the final playoff spot. 2 in the loss column. Jake Berger with 2 homers. Rangers sweep the Brewers 6-3. It's the 4th straight win for Texas.
Division's tight, and Texas is right on the Mariners' heels for the last wild card spot.
And with the Brewers losing, the Cubs scoring 3 off Chris Sale, beating the Braves 3-2, are just 5.5 back, and the Cubs do own the tiebreaker. No meetings, however, between the Cubs and Brewers for the rest of the season. Royals 2 in the 7th beat the Guardians 4-3. Kansas City 4 back of Seattle. Cleveland 3.5 back.
Running out of time.
Rays really running out of time. Lost to the White Sox 6-5 despite Junior Caminero's 42nd home run. They're 5.5 back in the wild card. They'd have to leapfrog KC, Cleveland, Texas, Seattle.
They're under 500. They're done. I'm sorry. You know how much I like this team. I root hard for the Rays. It's not going to happen.
It is happening for the Phillies.
Oh, yeah.
Third straight win over the Mets. I mean, the East is done. They've got a 10-game lead with 2.5 weeks to go. Their magic number officially is 7.
It's the largest lead for any team in any division right now.
Yes, even bigger than the
surpassed
Tigers.
Detroit's lead over Cleveland.
11-3 Phillies over the Mets, who have lost 5 in a row. And their lead for the final playoff spot remains 2 because the Giants lost to Arizona 5-3. But Cincinnati is getting in the act. They just took 2 or 3 from the Padres, scoring 2 in the 8th to win 2-1. So both the Giants and Reds are 2 games behind the Mets. Mets own the tiebreaker on the Giants. The Reds own the tiebreaker on the Mets. There you have it. San Diego, however, with the loss, drops 3 games behind the Dodgers. LA with a 9-0 win. Blake Snell getting healthy at the right time. 6 shutout innings, 11 strikeouts, his best performance of the year. Mookie Betts beginning to swing the bat after a season-long slump. He hit a salami last night in the Dodgers win. Paul Skeens pitched for the Pirates, so you know they didn't score many runs. He only went 5 innings and threw less than 70 pitches. Wonder what was up. I mean, normally let him go between 90 and 100. That's another 2 innings. He had thrown 5 shutout innings. Kind of curious why they didn't let him go any further. Baltimore beat Pittsburgh 2-1 in 10. Marlins finally beat the Nats. They'd lost 5 games to them this month, and they were down 3-0 in the 6th before rallying to win 8-3. And remember Mike Trout? Really great player once upon a time. Now he's just playing out a big money contract for a bad franchise, and he's just a okay player. Trout with 2 RBIs, including game-winning sac fly in the 8th, and the Angels' 4-3 win over the Twins. So Anthony Rizzo, Tuesday night, was at Yankee Stadium, taking in the game, drinking a couple beers. They caught him on camera. He guzzled the beer for the cameras. He also, by the way, signed autographs all throughout the game. Kids recognized him. They kept coming down. Rizzo didn't turn anybody away. He played for the Yankees for 3.5 years. Before that, he spent 10.5 years with the Cubs. It was announced yesterday, and they'll make it official today, Rizzo's going to retire. one of those one-day contracts as a Cub and will become a team ambassador. That sounds like just getting paid to
team ambassador. I mean, it's not as good as I used to work in the ECHL Hockey League, and the original commissioner retired, and they named him Commissioner Emeritus. I like that title a lot.
But whose job is better? I mean, if you think about
ambassador.
And you're to represent the team at events. Well, most events are probably parties, right?
Right.
I mean, there's food, there's drink. I don't know how often you have to put on a tie. I mean, team ambassador sounds like. Can they offer that as a major in college? I'd do that.
I mean, it's like, what country would you want to be the ambassador to the most? Canada, Australia, Great Britain, Ireland. I mean, those seem to be the easy ones. Set me up with one of those.
There was a report in The Athletic yesterday that the Tigers apparently have a few men in the organization who, are inappropriate with women. Apparently,
a few is,
Apparently, they've had to get rid of like 8 guys in the organization over the last 2 years.
Pretty high up, too. One was 31 years old and considered a rising star in the business.
He was the assistant GM, Sam Menzin, who suddenly resigned in April. Well, now we know why, because, they were accused of misconduct with women. That's obviously not a good thing. WNBA, our buddy Carl Semesco and the Atlanta Dream finished their season last night 30-14. They won by 16 on the road at Connecticut. Atlanta will be either the 2 or the 3 seed. They could face Indiana in the first round.
He should win Coach of the Year. I predict he will not.
I'll tell you,
word that I've said in all of this is he. I'm just saying.
There's no doubt there is a bias against men in women's sports as coaches. They try not to give the Coach of the Year award to a guy. I will say there are a couple of other really good candidates for what it's worth. I mean, there's a female coach who took the Golden State franchise as an expansion team to the playoffs. Minnesota is the best record. So, every now and then you should give the Coach of the Year to the team with the best record. But yeah, he's done a tremendous job, and he will be a finalist for Coach of the Year, our buddy Carl Semesco. WNBA regular season ends tonight, by the way. Playoffs begin on Sunday. And at 7 minutes before the hour, that was the starting 5. 5 big stories, and who doesn't want to be a team ambassador here on Miller and Moulton?
Or just a U.S. ambassador. Is that the best gig in the government?
Oh, totally.
I'm not saying it's important, because it's really not. Now, if you're in certain parts of the world, I can understand its importance. But like the 4 countries I mentioned, you're the U.S. ambassador to Great Britain, Ireland, Canada, or Australia. That's a good gig. Throw New Zealand in there for good measure.
Well, remember, the owner of the Jets got offered the ambassadorship to the UK. He just resigned his ownership for 3 years and went overseas. Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters, floormeisters.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller & Moulton.
Not bad, Arch. You got a good point there. You know, ambassador to the Cayman Islands, not a bad gig. All right, poll question. I got to get off the ambassador. I could throw up best country to be an ambassador to as a poll question. From a football standpoint, after week 1, what NFL team do you trust the most or trust the least? And put good teams on there: Detroit, Kansas City. You know, which playoff team from last year do you trust the least after week 1?
So Kansas City, Detroit. Don't put Baltimore up there because that.
No.
Go for
Minnesota,
Houston.
There's 4 SEC games this weekend that are pretty good, right? Which one has the best chance for an upset? Florida, Tennessee, Vandy. I think I'm missing one.
Arkansas.
I'd
do the NFL,
okay.
and I'd leave it at 3.
So which
Kansas City, Detroit, Houston.
Team from 2024 do you trust the least? And trust the least to make the playoffs?
Yeah. Yes, Kenneth. Yes, the Prime Minister of England fired the UK ambassador to the US because apparently he, had something to do with Jeffrey Epstein.
There is blood in the water in Miami. I was somewhere yesterday having to do some things, and I won't get into that, but the guy running the place is talking to another guy, and he's a Dolphin fan, and I'm listening, and I'm looking over my wife with me, and I'm looking over at her going, I might need to move seats. I didn't. And then he got up and said something to me. I said, Dolphin fan, huh? He says, yeah. I said, I'm sorry. And he wanted everybody fired yesterday. He wants Greer fired. He wants McDaniel fired. He wants Tua benched. He wants Hill traded. I mean, Venom. I mean, they are pissed.
Uh-huh.
What we talk, like that poll really said the Gator fan is not as pissed as the Dolphin fan. And the Gators just...
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this September 11th. Thanks so much for being with us. Happens to be a Thursday this year. Next year will be a Friday. No football on it next year by law, second Friday of September. NFL not allowed to play after Labor Day on Friday, or at least once you get to the second week of the month. There will be Mets-Yankees next year in prime time on Friday, September 11th on Fox. I don't know where that game is being played. I think it should be played at Citi Field because the first event in the New York metropolitan area after September 11th was a Mets-Braves game at Shea. But I'm not sure where that game is played, but it is Mets-Yankees next year on the 25th remembrance. Feel free to take some time this year to remember and talk about it, particularly with those who might be under the age of 30 and really don't have any recollection of it. It's important.
No doubt. No doubt at all. All right, let's get back to the frivolous stuff, sports.
Right.
And a poll question, which is even more frivolous than this show.
But a bum.
and we actually spent the commercial break discussing a poll question, which happens once every, put it this way, about every time Chapman gives up a hit, we discuss a poll question during a break.
Wow. That's nice. Now, I mean, the poor guy now has to, not give up a hit the rest of the year?
Something like that.
Yeah, 2.5 weeks, Araldus. You just did it for 7. Let's see if you can do it for another 2.5.
But we decided to go NFL. I had a college one in mind, and we actually had the one, what country would you want to most be an ambassador to, which still could go up at any point during the show. But after week 1, which NFL playoff team from 2024 do you trust the least to make the playoffs in 2025? Kansas City, Detroit, or Houston?
Now, I like the question for a couple of reasons. All 3 teams made the playoffs last year. All 3 teams won their division last year, and all 3 teams lost week 1. But also, let's see, Green Bay and Minnesota won, so the Lions are already a game behind 2 highly thought of division rivals. In Kansas City's case, the whole division won. LA, Denver, Vegas. So the Chiefs are in last. And then who was the other one? Oh, yeah, Houston. Well, Indianapolis and Jacksonville both won. Both at home. Both look good, by the way. Both with convincing wins. Oh, by the way. I am just going to say this. I don't know that Jacksonville's going to get there this year. We'll talk to JP Shadrick in a couple hours. There are weaknesses with that team. They also will have a very challenging schedule starting really soon. They've got about a 6-7 week run where can they survive it? because then in the second half of the year, if Jacksonville has their act together, they can make some hay. But I got to tell you, Mark, I think I'm buying this Liam Cohen guy. You know how, early on I was a big on Kevin O'Connell? I think I'm buying this Liam Cohen guy.
What is it about him that makes you say that this quickly?
I'm going to sound idiotic here. Hopefully not more than I usually do. Mark, he seems very real to me. He seems to be very much like, and I know he spent time with Sean McVay, how Sean McVay was young and could A, relate to the player because of his age, B, came off well when he dealt with the media, but also had the ability to look the player in the eyes, tell it to him straight, and the player would accept it and respond to it. O'Connell's got the same thing in Minnesota, I believe. I think Cohen's got the trait also. Team buys, hires a coach and you hope they all work out and 2/3 of them don't. I just think he's going to work out.
All right. And I like him. That's an incredible answer out of you because you are so much more X's and O's driven than a gut feel about the way a guy handles things. I mean, when I think of how you break things down, it's always, well, they're a great offensive mind. I like their run game. I like their pass game. I like their defense, etc. So for you to give that answer surprised me because what I like about him, and I have a soft spot for the Jags. I want them to be good.
Right.
I don't know if they'll get there this year. But what he did in Tampa last year,
right?
He made them tougher. He demanded that offense to be able to run block in order to make the team better. And when you run block, ask any lineman, whether they played high school, college, or pro, what would they rather do? Run block or pass block? Go forward or go backward? Guys want to run block. They want to go hit the guy across from them. They want to win that battle. And when you win that battle at the line of scrimmage, your team's better immediately. And to me, he's going to help bring the toughness to the Jags by establishing the running game like Mike McDonald never did in Miami. He was the run game coordinator for the 49ers. The Miami Dolphins run the ball as badly as any team in the league. And they don't run it with power. They run to the outsides. They're cute. They're pretty. That's not what Liam Cohen's about with his run game. His run game is about toughness. So that's what I like about what Cohen brings to the table. He will, by demanding they run the football, to me, David, make them a tougher football team. And last year, when we talked about the Jags and the Dolphins, and they played week 1, and we thought it was a big game, it turned out that it was really two teams that were, and we said they're mirror images of one another. We didn't realize how right we were. Both of those teams were soft last year. Through one game, the Dolphins still look what? Soft.
The Jags, meanwhile, got 143 yards rushing from Travis Etienne in their 26-10 beatdown of Carolina. And it's what, by the way, certain people missed about Ben Johnson's success in Detroit. They ran the ball last year 46% of the time. Highest scoring team in the league, I believe, at 29 points a game. They didn't throw the deep ball all that often, and they ran the ball a ton in today's NFL. And if you look at Ben Johnson's comments after losing to the Vikings, his biggest regret was they never established the running game. And you're right, Mark. I think Cohen, Johnson, even though they're younger coaches, and, younger coaches usually like to throw the ball all over the lot, These two both want to pound the rock a decent amount of the time.
And because pounding the rock, I don't know, I don't feel badly for Trevor Lawrence. He just got a second contract. He's just fine. But a running game does it's as simple. You all know it. I'm not telling anybody listening something they don't know. Running the ball well does what? Develops the play action pass. And when you have the receivers Jacksonville has, and you can go play action, you got Thomas and Hunter out there, I like where you're going. And I hate to keep making the comparisons to the Dolphins, but no one cares about their running game, so play action doesn't work for Tua. And it's not his best attribute anyhow. He's a quick hitter.
It does appear as if it's too little too late for Mike McDaniel in Miami. But he did publicly criticize Tua yesterday. I mean, he is in his geeky Best Buy way trying to be tougher.
It's white noise to me now. And what I'm most petrified of for Dolphin is it's white noise in the clubhouse. It's white noise in the locker room. I don't know if they're listening to him. I don't know if what did you see Zonka's tweet? It's like uninspired, undisciplined. There's 3 words. Larry Zonka just in 3 words took down the Dolphins. He never does that. He loves them.
Yeah, there was a lot of negativity outside of the Dolphins leading into the season opener. You throw 30-8 or 33-8 on the board. And remember, a week from tonight, the Thursday night game, not going to be as marquee as tonight's Washington at Green Bay. Next Thursday, it's Miami at Buffalo.
Ironically, they don't beat Buffalo, but they always play them pretty tough.
They do.
They lose. It's that, bad college team that plays Ohio State tough and walks off the field and goes, we gave them everything we had. Not good enough on Thursdays or Sundays, if you know what I mean, but they play them tough.
But for those still clinging to a Dolphin season, Sunday's a must-win. An absolute must-win. Because we all know they're losing a week from tonight.
Right. The banners are going to be flying that say fire Greer and McDaniel. Already done, already paid for, GoFundMe, blew past the number they needed for it in a heartbeat. And I wonder how many Patriot fans will be there instead of Dolphins.
Well, here's how I know they're not sold out. Because 2 years ago when they had what seemingly was a good team and a great schedule, I was trying to get season tickets. And I couldn't because I was too far down on the waiting list. Now, 2 years later, Mark, you know how it works.
Oh, yeah. I remember that when I gave up my Bucs season tickets. They were after me for a while, David.
Right. Guess who they're contacting? Okay, wondering if I'm interested. Hey, you can get those seats you wanted in 2023. Really? Can I? Huh. How about that? No, I'm good. I'll wait till the new regime comes in and see what quarterback they draft. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening. So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters. Floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah!
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
But you know, Adam, I think ATN's a good runner. I do. So I just think sometimes a philosophy change. Maybe their line was better than we thought, and they just were coached poorly. I mean, it is obvious that they've had some bad coaches there. And, you know, you've heard people on our show that played the game talk about the belief early that players will believe anything if they think they're going to win. And that's why, to us, it was so big for Miami to win in Indianapolis when he tries to change the culture and who he is and all that crap. And, you know, they farted right on his face.
Yeah, Adam. Fumbles will do you in. What's interesting is the Eagles picking him up. I know their number 2 running back got banged up.
I'm going to make a bold prediction, David. Not really. I could do it on air, but nobody cares on air. It's really just for you. Nashville, we know, is going to be an MLB expansion franchise.
Mhm.
Raleigh's going to be the other one. I'm telling you.
Well, we talked about it geographically. They actually need the team. We
And
talked
they've got
about
the Dundon guy there who they've got an owner with money. They've got someone who owns teams. They like that. I was too, Adam. I thought Tank Bigsby has something, but you're right. You pulled and that's a new coach. Hey, you put the ball on the ground, you're done.
Did you see what the Jets did? Their punt returner, the key
Yep.
fumble against the Steelers, they cut him.
Cut him. I mean, that's by the way, how you start a culture. Talk doesn't work. Action works. Done with this guy. No, Michael, that's how you create a culture. You cost me the game. You're done. This isn't a league of chances. This isn't high school. This isn't peewee football.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Roy Cummings at the top of the hour to talk the Bucs. Big win week 1. Headed to Houston. They're the early game of the Monday Night Football doubleheader. I know many of you don't like the doubleheaders. They're not going away in the short term. We'll see if they will in the long term. But the Bucs and Texans are the early Monday game. And by early, we mean 7 Eastern, 6 Central.
All right, I'm telling you right now, Moulton. I don't want to hear any of this I'm tired crap this Tuesday.
So I'm getting a whole extra hour of sleep, and that's enough.
You're in the Central Time Zone. You got a 7:00 kick. I got nothing.
All right, it's true. I think I can make it back to the hotel by 10 Central. That's 7 hours before the show starts. Mark, you're on to something.
Thank you. I mean, that you get caught up in a West Coast baseball game, all bets are off. But I understand.
Not only that, it's great being in the Central Time Zone because a lot of the checkouts are 11 or noon. And if you can get like a 2 or 3 o'clock flight, you can go to sleep after the show, take a nap even before checkout. It's great. But poll question. So which good team, playoff team, division champion, in fact, from a year ago, who's 0-1, are you most worried about? So much so you think they might miss the playoffs. Chiefs, Lions, or Texans?
I voted Chiefs.
Wow.
I voted Chiefs. I think Detroit will be fine when it's all said and done. I really do. They went through a year, won all those games last year despite a defense that was banged up. I don't anticipate Detroit having the injury bug in 2025 the way they did in 2024. Kansas City, however, Rice out 6 games. Now Worthy out for a couple of games. Offensive line looked And both the Chargers and Denver, and I knew Denver was better than a year ago. I wasn't sure about the Chargers. They were impressive in week 1. They were. So it was between Kansas City and Detroit for me, because with you, I just don't trust Jacksonville or Indy enough. And I think Houston, when it's all said and done, will win that division. But I want to switch to Saturdays, and I want to read you a quote from an article that was posted, I believe, on Sunday by a national columnist, Dan Wolken. You're probably aware of who he is. And I'm going to read you the quote, and I want you to think a little bit. David knows who it is because I sent it to him earlier in the week. But I'm going to let you all listen, and I want you to think of who he has taught. Which college football team does this quote apply to? It's clear everyone involved in this charade of a football program is just wasting time and, more importantly, wasting money. That comment was Dan Wolken talking about the Florida Gators. Everyone involved in this charade of a football program. It's one thing for Miller and Moulton to throw a few darts at what happened after the South Florida game.
Right.
It's if a Bianchi in Orlando who writes about the Gators and all things Florida, if Gainesville radio wants to go on the attack, if Tampa radio wants to go on the attack, I get it. It's where the diehards are, and you're feeding raw meat to the lions. But when a national columnist says that you're a charade of a football program and you're wasting time and, more importantly, wasting money. How big are the next 2 weeks for the Florida Gators? And how much can they shove this right down Walken's you-know-what if they go to Baton Rouge and beat LSU?
Well, is Sunbelt Billy, he has a chance to pull a Zook here. Zook was really good about losing a game that would get Gator fans just absolutely bonkers. And then he'd go to Baton Rouge and beat number 1 LSU. You know, I mean, Zook, I think, had 3 wins against number 1 teams in the country. Okay. And yet Gator fans were trying to unload him from day one because he lost the games he shouldn't have lost, but won some games in which you went, I'll be damned. I didn't think he and they had it in them. I know, Mark, you keep talking about the next 2 weeks, and you're right. The noise may get so loud that he can't survive the bye week. He can't even make it to, I think it's the Texas home game on October 4th. I think he will. And that's why I think that 2-week period when the noise will be really loud and Texas comes to the Swamp, that's going to be, because I do think they're going to be 1-3. And if they are, then that's his Waterloo. That's his, they got to win or else arrangements are officially made. I don't think Scott Strickland's going to do what Jeremy Foley did when he fired Zook walking off the field in Starkville. Okay, I don't think Strickland's going to do that, but essentially he'll be done.
He's 20-20 as the
Right.
Gators football coach.
Yep.
And we have pointed this out often. Strickland did him no favors with their non-conference schedule that they've had since he's taken over. None whatsoever. Go look at who they've played early in the season, and then obviously they got the Knowles every year. Their non-conference schedule has, to me, been the best in the SEC during the time that he's been the head coach, and it has not benefited him one bit.
Well, and I'd even argue it hasn't been close. And LSU plays a schedule every year, and Alabama's actually had some really good non-conference games on the schedule here recently. But Mike, 2 years ago, we played 11 Power 4 teams because UCF was on the schedule, and they had just joined the Big 12. All right, think about it this year. He's got his 8 SEC games. He's got non-conference against Miami and Florida State. And, oh, by the way, a non-Power 4 game is South Florida. I mean, meanwhile, do we want to break out Penn State's schedule? And there's more than just Penn State. But you know what we're getting at. I mean, they have not, Kurt Cignetti at Indiana keeps looking at the Florida schedule going, are they out of their minds?
Absolutely. And I don't know if I give Napier credit for this, but Napier, we're not aware of any time that he ran to Strickland and said, we need to get rid of a couple of these games. So, David, you know what? You're probably right. But deep down, if it goes badly Saturday in Baton Rouge, then all bets are off.
By the way, money's coming in on the Gators big. It's down to 7.5.
Right.
Wasn't it 9.5? I think it was. Money's coming in on the Gators.
Opened at?
I thought it was 9.5. All right.
20-20 is Napier at Florida. Even if David's right, 21-21 heading into the Texas game, where they will be at least a touchdown underdog at home to the Longhorns. Now, like a texter on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line, 21,000 is the number. Miller, the keyword, if you've not texted before. Pelican Roofing of Florida, 1-866-9-PELICAN, residential, commercial, statewide. Pelican Roofing of Florida for all of your roofing needs. Texter pointed out earlier in the week, We asked, does Napier survive or who gets fired first? He goes, on Monday, is your question going to be, how does Brian Kelly survive when Florida goes into Baton Rouge and wins? Pointing that out so he doesn't have to retext it to me on Monday if the Gators get the win. I don't think I will play this game tomorrow as one of my 5. I may, because, I've been trying to pick the bigger games, but it's a lot of points against what's supposed to be, by the people who do this for a living, 2 pretty good lines. The offensive and defensive line of the Gators are supposed to be good. What LSU did against Clemson with that defensive line impressed the hell out of me.
Well, I got to admit, the Gators' offensive line has underperformed so far this year. I mean, even Kevin Brockway, when he came on our show last week before the South Florida game, said, LIU produced a bunch of negative plays against the Gators' offense. Miller and Moulton, Roy Cummings to talk the Bucs in a half an hour.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for
So
details.
I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters, floormeisters.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I can answer that for you. No. Remember, David's a Giants fan. So if you were to ask that, EB, his actual team is the Giants. But I can answer that for no.
Absolutely not.
Wow, JP's in North Fort Myers. Does he still have a store anywhere? Is he still in the Cape? I mean, I know that the Gulf Coast Town Center closed a long time ago. By the way, McNeil got in this week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he tees off at noon. Big for him to make the cut. It would really help him get into the Jacksonville, get a sponsors. A good showing here makes it a lot easier to get the exemption for that. Is he, Mike? Hey, Michael, I have a question for you. I'm glad you joined in. I just read that SIBO has changed ownerships to people that work there, which is a really cool story. I've never eaten there. I'm sure you have. How is it?
EB, my interaction with Gary and Troy only changes when I think something is really important. Then I get not animated, because you can't get animated with them. You can't disrupt their rhythm and what have you and their concentration. But I get more intense, a little more serious. I may say something to both of them like, I need you to listen to me, which usually gets them to just kind of look over like, what? But that's it's the only time I'm any different.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till Roy Cummings joins us at the top of the hour on this September 11th. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. I know very few people want to talk about this. I'm sorry, I got to go there for a few minutes. Just a few, not the whole segment. We'll get back to football and baseball, I promise. So the NBA had big meetings going on in which supposedly they were going to talk expansion. Okay. I don't even know if expansion came up, Mark, because, they got a few things going on right now. They got players involved in gambling investigations. They got an all-star game format to redo again. It's not going to work. Ship sailed. Nobody cares. They still trying to put a European league together. They're not going to be in the real NBA, but it's going to be like the DP World Tour. Okay, fine, whatever. Oh, yeah, then there's this investigation of the Clippers. So is it fair to say, for those of us that pay attention to the NBA anyway, at whatever level, is it fair to say that we don't look at Adam Silver as a disciplinarian?
Oh, yeah, I think that's very fair, David.
Okay. Well, Adam Silver did come off yesterday as if, I'm kind of leaning towards the Clippers in this dispute with Pablo Torre and the whole, did Kawhi Leonard have a no-show job, and the company Aspiration, which is now bankrupt, and the guy who ran it's facing fraud charges. Here's what Silver said that had people going, okay, well, the burden's on us, he said. It's on if we're going to discipline a team, an owner, a player, the burden's on us, okay? I think with any process that requires fairness, the burden should be on the party that is bringing the charges. Also, here's the magic quote. the league needs to look at the totality of the evidence rather than just the mere appearance. And that got everybody going, oh, okay, the fix is in and what have you. Mark, like an hour later as it happens, Pablo Torre did his podcast. And on the podcast, all right, he basically found a smoking gun. He found that when the company aspiration was sinking, that Kawhi was owed a payment and it was late. And so remember, the company is sinking. The company has not paid its bills to the Clippers. And yet, where does money come from to pay Kawhi Leonard? The co-owner of the Clippers, not Ballmer, but his right-hand guy. And 70% of the money that was given to the sinking company just happened to go to Kawhi Leonard. It was a $2 million out of nowhere, and $1.75 million of it went to Kawhi.
What I also find interesting about this case, David, and I guess not this case, but the NBA in silver on the whole, while he very much leaned pro Clippers yesterday, he was the opposite with Malik Beasley and their ongoing investigation when it looks like, by all, and the feds are still investigating Beasley, but Beasley's lawyer has said, one, we're cooperating. Two, they're not coming after us anymore. And three, the game where there were irregularities about Beasley's bets, all those people lost their bets. It was on a game in which the activity of the under of 2.5 rebounds for Beasley dropped from minus 250 to minus 125 or whatever it was. Beasley had 6 rebounds. All the bets were under. So silver, we're going to still make sure we take care of the player, and said so. Yet the comments about the Clippers seem to be very pro-Clippers. That's a shocking development, huh?
I have to admit, I love this comment by the gentleman who goes as Puck in our Twitch chat room. He said, if only Pablo Torres had investigated the Ohtani gambling. Yeah, tell me about it. Don't you? I mean, this is the paper trail. I mean, do you really think in this day and age, okay, to shred them, burn them? Are you kidding me? Like, we're not gonna. I know hardly anybody looks for it anymore, but if somebody wants to look, they can find it. I mean, here's the other part that's come out, is Toronto has made sure to let everybody know that when Kawhi was a free agent after they won the title, Kawhi asked for an ownership stake in the Toronto Maple Leafs to stay. The Lakers have made sure now to let everybody know how negotiations went down between Kawhi and the Lakers, in which at the absolute last minute, Kawhi signed with the Clippers. The Lakers apparently were in the process of scheduling the presser. That's how sure that Kawhi was joining LeBron and Anthony Davis. And he went with the Clippers. And what's the allegation here? The $28 million no-show job, which obviously the Lakers were not providing. And that some of Kawhi's demands when he has reached free agency are some of the most out there demands that elite players have apparently made on the free agent market. So I know, listen, it's football season. I get it. And you and I and most everybody else has no confidence that even if the evidence is there, that Adam Silver is going to come down hard on Ballmer and the Clippers. But let me tell you, I'd much rather argue what Pablo Torre has uncovered than the other side of the story.
And I don't think anybody should be overly. The only way to me, David, that this gains fuel is if the Lakers owners, the Raptors owners keep pressing it.
I agree.
Or if Silver tells them, shut up.
I don't think he's got the power to. I don't think Adam Silver's David Stern at all.
If it were the Bucs family, remember they just sold its new owners.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they spent $10 billion on the franchise, but they are new owners. And David, I'll hit you where it hurts.
Oh, no.
There was a team that was ready to move their spring training home from Arizona to Naples, Florida.
I can't believe you're doing this to me on this day.
And the Cubs were ready to announce the move. It was reported in papers. It was something very near and dear to David's heart. He wrote a column about it, and the damn thing snowballed. And it was going to happen. They were going to announce it. And the commissioner of baseball, and we don't know this to be 100% true, but damn it, we're pretty darn certain, told the new owner of the Cubs that your first move as new owner of the Cubs is to crush the Cactus League. We all know the Cubs stayed in Arizona. Don't you think that Adam Silver sitting down with the new owners of the most famous franchise in the sport, even if you don't think he has power, isn't going to tell the new owners to get in line with ownership? That's all. Sorry. Couldn't help it. Had to bring up a sore spot. Had to hit you where it hurts.
A sore spot? A sore spot? I would have been a legend in Southwest Florida. Hell,
a legend in Southwest Florida.
Yeah, right. I would have been a congressman in Southwest Florida if I had pulled that sucker off. Are you kidding me?
You would have been getting someone to buy the 8-ball for you at the restaurant in Washington.
I mean, think about it. You know, we had who I liked, the former Purdue basketball player who served 2 terms. Good guy, by the way. I don't know why he didn't stay. I wish he had. Okay, we had a former TV guy. Okay, get the gig. I mean, you don't think I would have brought the Cubs to Naples? You don't think I would have been a congressman? The hell I would. You're damn right I would have been a congressman.
Had to change that independent to an R down here, but other than that, yeah. Miller and Moulton, text line open at 21,000.
That's okay. Okay, that can be done.
Wouldn't be the first time someone did it to get elected, and it won't be the last.
No.
Might as well read the poll question now.
Yeah.
After week 1, which...
yeah, you do that. Oh, my goodness.
Which playoff team from a year ago do you trust the least to make the playoffs in
sore spot
2025? Kansas City, Detroit, or Houston? Right now, Houston getting 43% of the vote. The Lions are next. The Chiefs are in last. You can go to that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, or Miller_Moulton on X to vote.
A sore spot. That's what you call it, huh? A sore spot? Oh, for goodness sakes. Anyway, boy, how about that Thursday night football game tonight, huh? Commanders and Packers.
I'm sorry. You went ownership and commissioners, and it made something tick in my brain.
How about this? I have a nomination for a second poll question. How many times will we see Kirk Herbstreit's dog on the broadcast tonight? Over, under a half?
Over before I switch to the NFL game.
No. He's doing the NFL game.
Oh, I'm sorry. I assume it. Oh God. Ooh. Well, yeah. Will Michaels let the dog in the booth?
I'm told he now does. okay, that he's he's okay with it. Okay, because the dog apparently is well behaved and just kind of lays there. So I'm just, I mean, I work with two guys who are part of the booth. Okay, so I got good sources on this. Okay, I'm telling you, the dog is going to be there.
Dog? Do they like the dog?
Who doesn't like? Come on, if
you're not an animal person, you don't dislike dogs, but you don't always like dogs.
But if an animal is well behaved, it's tough to dislike the animal, if you know what I mean. If the animal's not jumping on you, whizzing on you. Okay,
humping your leg, I get it.
Yeah, but if the animal's well behaved, and the worst thing the animal does is just kind of come over and sniff, and kind of look at you like, "Hey, how you doing? How's your day going?" I mean, how do you dislike an animal that does that?
It's a good point. I'll never forget. Somehow, some night, my dad ended up with one of my friends out. My dad spent the night having had a little bit too much to drink, and my friend went to work the next day, and the old man got up in the morning. And he had an English bulldog. And the English bulldog, every once in a while, would go for the leg. And my dad had a bad back. And the bulldog was about 80, 90 pounds. I'll never forget Fred telling me. He goes, I'm trying to get out of there. And the dog just wouldn't let me go. And at one point, I just said, all right, have at it. When you're done, and I'll leave.
So that's if we're gonna go second poll question during the show, okay, it would be how many times do we see Herb Street's dog on the Amazon broadcast tonight? Over, under a half?
I'll go over.
Yeah, I will too.
If it was 1.5, I'd go over.
Ooh.
2.5, I'd go under.
Ooh, I'll go over. It'll be late though. It'll be late in the game, but
it's and you're right. It's a good game. You don't need to go to the dog unless the game's a blowout.
But, first game of the year, no doubt in my mind, the dog will be there. I know the dog will be there. But I just think first game of the year, they'll make sure they get him on. Okay. It's a wide enough booth, too, to have the dog.
It's interesting, though, because the pro football fan doesn't have the venom that the college football fan has towards, like, Kirk. Kirk's not disliked by NFL fan. There are a few, the Florida State fan hates him. He's pretty well liked at the college level, too.
Although apparently he's got a love-hate relationship with his alma mater, but
so much so that he had to move from Columbus to Nashville.
Right.
For his kids' sake. No, we don't take this crap seriously at all. Miller and Moulton, Roy Cummings to talk the Bucs. That's next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters, floormeisters.com.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 239-444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, your home for all the football and baseball that September provides, plus a nightly food special. Got bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays, live music Fridays, karaoke Saturdays. Never mind the fact that Shoeless Joe's is going to celebrate Grandparents' Day, National Hot Dog Day, National Cheeseburger Day, all in the month of September. Food and drink specials during every NFL game. Shoeless Joe's, the official home for Ohio State football. Shoeless Joe's, good food, good times, good sports, in the Doubletree by Hilton. Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Morning, Roy.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good, thanks. Cubs win.
I was in Chicago for Monday Night Football. Had a little Giordano's.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah. So
Sweet.
Got caught at O'Hare. I was thinking about making the Cubs game Sunday when they gave up 5 in the 9th and lost. But as it turned out, if I could have gotten there by the second inning, I would have done it. But the earliest I would have gotten there was the 4th. And probably not even then. So I didn't go.
Yeah.
I've been to Wrigley in 35 years. So.
Oh, boy. How about
I want to
that?
go.
And I've never been, Roy.
Well, you need to go.
I know. My wife's got a coworker friend who's from Chicago, and just chat. We were at dinner a couple weeks ago, and he just lit into me as a sports guy, going, "How can you do what you do for a living and never been a Wrigley?" We're going.
Well, it is a special experience, no doubt about it. No doubt. You will never forget it. It is that kind of a sports experience. You know, I'm fortunate. I mean, I get to visit a lot of places, man, covering sports. I mean, almost every stadium in the NFL, a lot of stadiums in Major League Baseball. I mean, I went to old Maple Leaf Gardens, the old Forum in Montreal, Boston Garden, Chicago Stadium, obviously, many times.
That's the one I would have liked to have gone to.
Oh, God.
And Olympia is a little before my time in Detroit. I mean, I was around at the end of Olympia, but the wings were terrible.
But Chicago Stadium and Olympia are two that I'm like, man, it would have just been cool to see the pitch. Because I broadcast hockey when they did that roller hockey thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I did a game at the Forum in Montreal, which is pretty special.
Yeah.
And I did a game in St. Louis at the old Checker Dome or whatever they call it.
Yes.
And that was a cool stadium.
Oh, I can tell you guys stories about some of those old places, man.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home on this September 11th. Thanks for being with us, Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Halfway home in Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete, and the 239. Final hour of the show, Lake City, Live Oak, surrounding areas, Port Charlotte, Venice, and surrounding areas. This day and time is always reserved during the football season for Roy Cummings. R. Cummings, FHCN, is how you follow him on X. He covers the Bucs for us and Bay News 9 in Tampa, St. Pete. Roy, good morning. I know you're in a good mood because the Cubs still have a shot in the division. How are you?
I'm very good, guys. Hey, we got a shot at making the playoffs. We'll start with that. We'll take that.
Oh, come on. You're in the playoffs. It's just a matter of who you host. You'll host that best of three. Don't kid yourself. It's what it's looking like.
I hope. We'll see.
The way the Mets are playing, you're in, Roy.
Yeah, right. I want them to get in on their own merits, not someone else failing.
Well, fair enough. Well, you know what? I don't want to say the Bucs failed, but for 3 quarters, it was rather lackluster. They did not play well. And yet they were able to win. They had a makeshift offensive line. They threw the center out to left tackle. They had to do what they had to do because the backup wasn't ready. And you know what? They did something they didn't do last year. They beat the Atlanta Falcons, Roy.
Yeah, they did. It's a great start. Look, at the end of the day, they don't care how you did it. You won. And you know what, David? You were there in Chicago on Monday night. You saw a similar performance by the Vikings. Sometimes if you can figure it out by the fourth quarter, that's all you have to do. Look, the Bucs, as I've said many times on this station with you guys, they used to be able. It used to be that they couldn't hold a lead. Now they can figure out ways to get a lead late and hold it, and that's really important. And okay, look, they got some luck, all right? But the same bad luck that plagued them a little bit in the game obviously plagued the Falcons. They win because a guy misses a field goal, but at the end of the day, that's football. You know what? It's about who makes the plays, and the Bucs made enough plays. They ran the ball effectively, moved it efficiently, stopped the run exceptionally well, and that's no easy task against Atlanta. Overall, good victory for the Bucs, in my opinion.
It was also because Baker, for 3 quarters, was not a top 10, 12 quarterback in the league. Okay, but then in the fourth quarter, as he has shown, he was. But here's my biggest concern going into Monday night in Houston. Houston can rush the passer. And the Falcons were getting all over Baker, and they didn't have a track record of being able to rush the passer. If Atlanta could make Baker's life somewhat miserable, Houston can ruin a night.
Yeah, they can. Bucs have to be prepared for that. They've got to get. Look, I would have liked to have seen Baker, just roll out a little bit more sometimes against the pressure. If you can see where it's coming from, and he usually can. That's one thing I would do. Let's again, as was mentioned, makeshift offensive line. I mean, nobody saw that coming outside of the building, obviously. Quite a surprise to go out there and start Graham Barton at left tackle, start Michael Jordan, not that Michael Jordan, obviously, at left guard, throwing a backup center. That's gutsy, really gutsy. Will they do it this week? I don't know. At the end of the day, it worked. It was okay. But, let's not forget this either. Yes, obviously a little rusty at the start for the quarterback. But you know what? I think the Bucs win this game going away if their secondary can hold on to 3 balls that they knocked down and had in their hands and arms Todd Bowles mentioned this, and he's absolutely right. As I'm going through that game, watching it, I'm thinking to myself, this game is kind of a walk for the Buccaneers if they can just handle those takeaways. They had those opportunities and just couldn't cash in. Do a little bit better job with that, and we're probably talking a little bit more highly of this team overall.
That's a great point, Roy. We talked about it last week heading in. The Bucs have to get more takeaways. It is imperative this year that they're able to do that, and they missed golden opportunities. The other thing to me, Roy, is that if my count's right, Baker ran it 5 times. I don't think any of those were really designed runs. So that means that they really only ran the ball 18 times. That's not who they were last year. And I know Liam Cohn's now in Jackson, and we spent a good amount of time earlier in the show talking about what the Jags did in week 1. They ran the football. The Bucs were good last year because they established the run. And I know it's a makeshift offensive line, but don't you think it's easier for a makeshift offensive line to block forward instead of pass protect? And they've got to run the ball this week against that Houston pass rush, don't you think?
Yeah, I think they do, and I think they will. And look, they still got 100 yards rushing, okay, overall. That's, it's kind of a magic number. You get 100 yards rushing, usually win the football game. Held the other team to 69 yards rushing. That's winning. That's a winning formula. But you know what? What's interesting about the makeshift offensive line is my guess is that so much time was spent preparing for pass protection that they might not have worked on very many running plays. It sounds simplistic, and it may be. I might be wrong, but I'm thinking that so much time in practice was devoted to making sure that the quarterback is protected and that he's got the time he needs to make the throws he needs to make, that they probably just didn't practice a whole lot of running plays. Maybe the game plan was always to, let's play to our strength here, which is the quarterback, who's going to figure out a way to get open and throw the ball away anyway. He's a pretty smart quarterback, so let's go with that. I think that's probably the case. I would expect to see a little bit more balance this time around, but you're right. I agree. They've got to try to run the ball because that, again, I've said it before, that running back room, it's just special, man. It's just special. I mean, you saw, even where Rashad White came in for a play, he made it work. Sean Tucker had a couple of runs, made it work. They can run the ball very well.
Roy Cummings, Bay News 9. Follow him on X at rcummingsfhcn, talking the Bucs. And, once again, you and Mark, who talked, Mr. Light there into drafting Egbuka, your lobbying efforts paid big dividends on Sunday. Chris Godwin better get back soon so we can remember just how good he is.
Yeah, it's the whole Chris Godwin saga has become, kind of back page material because it's just like, well, okay, yeah, get back when you can. I mean, that's part of that is just because the receiving core, including the tight ends, is just so deep. It's like the running back room. They've really built a lot of weapons, given Baker Mayfield a lot of weapons and built around him in an exceptional way. So it's worked out very well. And yes, Egbuka, I mean, look, the lights got into his eyes on the game-winning catch too. So he was fighting a little bit of adversity there, but he's been in the bright lights before. He knows how to handle it. So it worked out very well. So you know what? Good for the Bucs. Right off the bat, your first-round draft pick helps you out to win a game. When's the last time you could say that about a Bucs first-round draft pick? Because it's been a while, guys.
No doubt. All right, 1 sack. The run defense was terrific, but they only got to Penix once. What do they need to do to get to C.J. Stroud more? Because I don't know how good this Texans offensive line is, Roy.
Yeah, it's a good question. Look, I would hesitate to say blitz more because when they blitzed last week, they got burned by Michael Penix, okay? In essence, a rookie quarterback. Cade Stroud is going to do even better than that. Smart guy, really smart guy. So I think they've got to figure out a way to get there with 4 rushers. Now, if that means dropping somebody into coverage, they didn't do that at all with Hassan Reddick last week. I thought Reddick played well. Very well. I thought, Yaya Diaby played well. I thought Savachi Dennis did well. I thought the group was good, not great. Certainly they can be better. They have to be. But I think, again, let's see what they can do with 4. Okay, let's try that, and maybe you don't have to try to get too tricky. Just go straight ahead. I mean, Todd Bowles loves to talk about Hassan Reddick's first step. He says it's the most explosive in the NFL. Well, let's try it out against some of these guys and see how it works. I think he and Diaby make a pretty good pair, and who knows? Maybe the fact that maybe they're just not getting 100% out of Villa right now. Maybe that had something to do with it. But at the end of the day, I'm thinking let Reddick and Diaby go and see what happens. See what you can do with 4. If you do that in the first quarter and a half and it doesn't work, you can switch it up. But I would try that to start with.
With an extra day, if you will, for some of the offensive linemen to get healthy, what's coming out of Bucs Place there in terms of the health of the offensive line for the Houston game?
Yeah, it's really, in terms of health, I think they're okay. It's not really that somebody wasn't healthy that they made the switch. I think they just decided. Well, apparently, what happened is over the course of just preparing for the game, like in the last 10 days before the game came around, they realized that Barton, just in the few snaps that he took, was just doing a better job of in essence protecting the quarterback. And so I think they just felt more comfortable with him than heck at left tackle. So it's not really a situation where, the offensive line's going to get. I don't think Wirfs is ready. He's not going to play this week. But maybe next week, we'll see. But, right now, I think the offensive line, again, they figured out a way to make it work for a week. I think it's healthy enough. It's really a testament to what they do with this offensive line, which is really build with almost every piece as someone who can move somewhere else that you don't expect to see him. Barton at left tackle, Bredesen at center. I just think it's to me it's just a testament to how they've built this team overall that they were able to do that, and I think they'll be able to do it again. Health-wise, if somebody gets hurt, they're in real trouble. But it's not bad a thing to know that you've got at least a seasoned pro and heck at left tackle backing you up in case things have to be shifted up a little bit.
No doubt. But Barton, he played tackle in college, so the move over there wasn't something he hadn't done before. Yeah. And, you're right when you say Ibuka is the first round pick to do things to win games, but Barton's helping them win games. I go back to what Jason Light's done, and his drafting has been fantastic, Roy. Monday night, the Bucs and Houston. The Bucs are a 2.5-point dog. Roy joins us each week on the American Paint Supplies Hotline. Roy, as always, enjoy the week. Thanks for your time. We always appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me on. Take care now.
And Roy, for you, go Cubs.
Yeah, man. Go Cubs.
Cubs Padres for a first rounder. That's a hell of a series.
Yeah.
Roy Cummings, R. Cummings FHCN, to follow him on X. JP Shadrick, top of the hour, Miller and Moulton.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters, floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
No, JP's the Bama guy, Puck.
Oh, yes, honey. Absolutely.
But the problem, Sonny, is not the problem. Remember, he's not playing with as good of a receiver as he did last year, and Mike Evans is the other receiver.
And he's going to the Hall of Fame.
Right.
That's
But at this moment in time, in the last 2 years, who's the better receiver?
oh yeah, the kid at Ohio State.
Right.
Right. Today, yeah. Oh no, I'll tell you. Man, oh man. 2013, Johnny Manziel and Mike Evans. They lost Alabama. They tore them up. I think Evans had over 200 yards receiving against Alabama.
I don't know if we had Lee on Thursday. I thought Lee was always a Friday guest, but I could be wrong, Wes.
We had Lee last week on Thursday, but yeah, Lee's, I think, always been a Friday guest.
No, we had him Friday last week. It was Thursday the week before for week 0 we had him.
Gotcha. Sorry.
No, but you're
Oh God, the weeks have already.
yeah, exactly. On to Cincinnati. So I don't know. I got 30 seconds. Did I tell you what happened to me at Publix the other day in the parking lot?
No.
I'm walking to my car. I got a prescription. I'm in the first spot next to the handicap. You know, my car's going to go in this. A guy goes the wrong way in a red BMW down the parking thing and pulls a hard left into the handicap spot right next to my car as I'm walking out. And I'm only about 2 feet away. And I kind of look at him, drive whatever way you want to. That's all I said. And he goes, fuck you. I look at him, wait for him to get out of the car. I said, what did you say? He goes, fuck you. And I said, it's a good thing you're over 70 because it's a felony for me to drop you right now.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour on this September 11th. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Our poll question today, these three teams all won their divisions last year. They all lost week one. Which is the one you have the most concern about? So much so, you think maybe, just maybe, they don't even make the playoffs. Chiefs, Lions, or Texans?
Who'd you vote for, by the way?
I voted for the Texans. Their offensive line, although I'm really worried about Detroit at center and left guard. I am, but I voted for the Texans because, I think Indianapolis is going to win 10 games and make the playoffs. So the Texans have been right around a 10-win team the last couple years anyway. I'm worried, their top running back's out. Their offensive line, which was a mess the second half of last year, not look good week one. Granted, they faced the Rams front, which is not easy. Their wide receiver situation to me is still interesting. I don't know. The whole CJ Stroud with a different offensive coordinator. I think DeMeco Ryan, I like Bobby Slowik. Okay, I do. Now, I feel badly for him because he got ditched as offensive coordinator and he got a job on the Dolphins staff. Well, he's going to be unemployed in 4 months. Okay, but I didn't think Bobby Slowik's play calling was the problem at all. I mean, he's the same guy that produced CJ Stroud's rookie year. He's the same guy the week before the playoff loss to the Chiefs dismantled the Chargers. And DeMeco kind of scapegoated him here. I'll be curious, and scapegoated some players too. I mean, how's the offensive line going to be better without Laramie Tunsil? Anybody? Help me with that one.
No, I'm with you. And look at, Chubb was if he turns out to have a great year, it's a hell of a story of all he's overcome. It truly is. But I don't know what's left there. Mixon looked done to me last year. The end of last year, he looked done. So I'm with you. I think, I didn't even have Houston as a consideration. I was between Kansas City and Detroit. And we may answer this question in a month. Because Sunday Night Football a month from now is Detroit at Kansas City. And I think the Chiefs at that point are going to be 2-3. I think they're going to lose this week. I think they lose to Baltimore. And they're going to beat the Giants in Jacksonville. And 2-4, yeah, you can overcome it. But 2-4 makes it tough to win the division with two good teams there.
Oh, yes. Now, they've produced long winning streaks before, and, but I hear you. They are a champion, though. And I know they didn't win the Super Bowl last year, but you still have to look at the Chiefs as champions.
No, I've got, in Detroit, by the way, more than likely 2-3 when they play the Chiefs. They have road games with Baltimore and Cincinnati, home games with Chicago and Cleveland. Yeah, they can beat the Bengals, but these two teams could both be sitting 2-3 for a Sunday Night Football game against one another a month from now.
That'd be pretty fascinating, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. It would. Not to jump too far ahead, we're just at week 2 in the NFL, week 3 in college. Huge college schedule this week. I'm very excited about all the SEC games. Was close to putting up a question of which team is most likely, and still could put it up if we wanted to or use it for tomorrow, which SEC team is most likely to get an upset. You've got the Gators getting 7.5. You got the Vols that I think's at 3.5, 4.5.
You know, Josh Heupel has not been able to figure out Georgia's defense. They've scored a lot of points and beaten a lot of teams under Josh Heupel. They haven't beaten Georgia.
And haven't put up any points when they've played Georgia.
No. And so that's, to me, don't you think? I know Georgia, and early in the season, Mark, this could be the most vulnerable Georgia's been since 2020, early in the season. You know, the quarterback and the offensive, and it looks like it's going to take them a little while. But don't you think still, though, you got to get to 24, 27 to win? And so can they do it? Because they haven't come close to doing it.
No, they have not. Then you have Arkansas and Ole Miss. Bud Elliott calling for the Arkansas upset in that game yesterday on the show.
Right.
And South Carolina and Vanderbilt. If you just look at common opponents, and that's no way to analyze a game, South Carolina beat Va Tech in a one-score game. Vandy whooped them. So I think when you look at the SEC, there are 4 upset opportunities there. Which team do you think's most likely to deliver an upset on Saturday?
By the way, if the Vandy coach takes them to a bowl game 2 years in a row, does somebody at a bigger program call?
Probably. Most likely. It would be incredibly interesting. He played there. I'm not saying it's his dream job, because I don't know if anybody's dream job is to be the head football coach at Vanderbilt. But he has a vision. He played there, and he thinks he's building something. You know, you talked about Alex Golish being kept at South Florida. They got to do that. To me, it's a hell of a lot easier to keep the guy at Vanderbilt in the SEC than it is to keep Golish at South Florida, if you know what I mean. I mean, there is some money among the Vanderbilt grads.
And obviously the city is very attractive. But I'm just going to be naive again. And maybe this is too much heart winning out overhead. But I really think South Florida can keep him. I do. Because he can make the playoff at South Florida. Isn't that what it's all about?
Yes, you're right. And there are so many positive things to talk about with the Bulls. What the turnaround that Golish has made with this program is paramount. But they're breaking ground on a new on-campus stadium.
How much money do you need? No, I'm being serious here. How much money do you need to stay? I mean, if you're South Florida, don't you, how about, I don't know, 7 for 50? What do you say? Is that enough?
That, yes. Actually, yes. 7 with 50. But in order to do that, you then have to more than likely match that 50 so he can keep his other coaches.
Yeah.
It's not just an investment in your head coach. It's an investment in your coaches. And then you need the investment in NIL and the players, not what they have at Florida or Miami or Florida State, but they've got to be in the ballpark with UCF.
I agree with the comment in our Twitch chat room. It would cost more to lose them than to keep them. That's how I would approach this as the incoming AD who got hired, yesterday? Day before? I mean, you got to get this done.
I agree.
You don't want the first big thing, whether it's and it won't be your fault, okay, but you just don't want it to 3-4 months into the job have to be replacing him.
Better get the money in front of him and get it there fast.
Well, this guy's got experience getting money.
I know.
Knows a
But
lot
the
of
key is
people.
not only just paying Golish, but then you've got to have Golish sign a contract that the buyout's so bad that you don't lose him.
Yeah. I don't know. Make him an offer he can't refuse.
I like it. Anytime we can go Godfather on this show, I'm all in. Poll question today after week 1: which playoff team from a year ago do you trust the least to make the playoffs in 2025? Kansas City, Detroit, or Houston?
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
So I
sound.
asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters. Floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Correct, Feeney, but you have to agree that South Florida is a much bigger and more lucrative program than FAU. And Lane was rebranding himself there. I don't think they can keep Golish. I think we're all going to be horribly disappointed when he gets a job next year. So I'm seeing a report. Who just put this out? I'm scrolling here. Sorry, David, but 2 to 5 weeks for Purdy. Ian Rappaport. Sources say 2 to 5 weeks he's out with the turf toe. Did you see what they did to my Spartans next week, David?
Mm-mm.
They're at USC. Do you know when the kick is?
No.
8 p.m. Pacific.
Oh, wow.
Michigan State USC starts at 11 p.m. Are you effing kidding me? That's a disgrace. And that's not me being a Spartan. Are you kidding me?
What?
You couldn't do that against Washington or Oregon or somebody out west? I won't watch CBW. I will not watch a play. I'll tape it. I'll get up in the morning and watch it if I feel like it. Not a play.
What network is that on? Is that on Big Ten Network? Because it's not on NBC.
No.
I'll bet you that was USC's doing because they figured they can get more people to go to the game. When none of the big three networks picked it up.
Fox.
What?
Fox.
Wow. Wow.
You're right, CBW. Are you kidding me? I was joking because a friend of mine from college, she lives out in San Diego, and her daughter went to USC, and she had a post, we're going to be at the game, and these Spartans coming out. I'm like, if I went out to LA, I don't know if I could make it for the kick. I'd be so tired.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour on this September 11th. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X, JP Shadrick. We'll talk a little Jags, coming off a very impressive, played a bad team, I know, but, take care of your own business. Nice 26-10 dominating win at home against Carolina.
Ran it down their throat.
Yeah, competition picks up a little bit this week. They're in Cincinnati, taking on the Bengals. But you pointed something out to me during the break. I think we should share it with our listeners that the Jags in, the last Sunday of the month may be facing the 49ers without Brock Purdy.
Ian Rappaport put a post out on X 10 minutes ago that sources telling him Purdy could be out 2 to 5 weeks with this turf toe injury.
Niners won in Seattle. This Sunday, they're in New Orleans to face the Saints. Mac Jones, the backup quarterback. I've talked for a while now about the regard that Kyle Shanahan had for Mac Jones coming out of the draft. And I said the minute he hits free agency, San Francisco is going to grab him. And sure enough, they did. I mean, they got Mac Jones to leave his hometown of Jacksonville as the backup, to go to San Francisco and be the backup after Purdy had, signed his contract. So he knew what he was getting into. But Mark, let's just say he misses the next 2 games. At New Orleans, home for Arizona. Mac Jones good enough? We talk about this all the time. Okay. And let's just say he misses 3 games. At New Orleans, that's a nice break. Home for Arizona, home for Jacksonville. also a nice break until proven otherwise. Can he at least go 2-1?
That's the benchmark that we put for backup quarterbacks. That's it. I think so. I think he can.
I mean, they'll be solid favorites against the Saints and the Jags on the road and at home, respectively. The Cardinals line could be tight, and they've actually struggled with Arizona.
Division game obviously makes it a little tougher, and Arizona's better. Don't know how good they are, but they're better.
3 weeks tonight, the Niners on a Thursday are at SoFi to take on the Rams. It'll be a 60-40 Niners crowd. You got to trust me on this one.
Always is. It always is.
Yeah. Niners fans come out of the absolute woodwork. The only time, and I've been there for like 4 Niners-Rams games, the only time that it was a 50-50 crowd was the NFC Championship game 4 years ago. Otherwise, the Niners will have more fans in the joint than the Rams.
I mean, how long have the two teams played in the new stadium, the Rams and the Chargers? Is this year 5?
I actually think, Mark, played in the new stadium or
Yes.
moved to Los Angeles?
Well, yeah, moved to Los Angeles.
Okay, I thought the 2015 season was the last season in St. Louis for the Rams. I thought they moved out there in 2016 with Jeff Fisher
Right.
as coach. They had just drafted Jared Goff. They played in the Coliseum. Jeff got fired. McVay came in 2017, I thought. So I think this is their 10th season in Los Angeles. I don't know when Kroenke got SoFi built by.
Okay, so 10 years there, the Chargers a little less. Neither team has done anything in that time to take a foothold in that city.
Well, not a Lakers, Dodgers, USC foothold.
And
No.
think about it, though. Lakers and Dodgers, push them to the side. They're always going to be 1 and 2 in that town. They just are. But during this same period, USC's been
Yeah, but it's the heritage.
I gotcha. But
I know what you're saying. I mean,
you say that, and I'll just, the Miami Dolphins have the heritage. The Miami Heat, to the younger generation, are Miami's team.
yes.
Like our old producer, Felipe. He loves the Dolphins. The Heat are his favorite team.
Right.
And there are a lot like him. So the heritage is there for USC, but for the young fan, they don't care about the heritage. And LA, the Rams have been pretty damn good.
They've been more than that. They've gone to 2 Super Bowls and won one. And won the Super Bowl in Los Angeles.
Right.
But, yeah, I think we'd have to define foothold.
Foothold means you have more fans in your opposition when you play a damn home game, David. And more times than not, neither team does.
Well, it's been 3 years since I've been there for a Rams-Niners game. So I'll be very curious. Al, who's from Los Angeles, by the way, lives in L.A. He'll have a home game in 3 weeks. It will be interesting if they get into the dynamic in the stands. Because I will say this, unlike the cocktail party, all right, a Rams-Niners game at SoFi is loud every play. I mean, the 18 cocktail parties I was at, only one fan base is yelling on every play in Jacksonville. The Niners and the Rams, those fans are yelling at each other all game. They are. And once the Niners fans get loud, the Rams fans try to equal it and vice versa. So it's a very raucous atmosphere. But 3 weeks tonight, can Brock Purdy be back? It'll be their 4th game. Okay, they'll go Saints, Cardinals, Jags. But if I'm the Niners, I'm like, man, I need you 3 weeks tonight. We're playing the Rams.
It's interesting. Also, 2 to 5 weeks. Well, that Thursday game, is that one of those games that he's close on Thursday, but he would have been a hell of a lot closer on Sunday, if you know what I mean? So that plays into it as well. Tonight's Thursday night game, Commanders and Packers. Jaden Daniels, the darling of the league last year. The Packers, all the talk about Green Bay heading into the season, and they deliver in week one. They destroyed the Lions. In every facet of the game, they looked fantastic. Commanders, they armbarred the Giants, a team that they're just better than. Nothing great about the win, a win nonetheless. So what, in your estimation, does Washington need to do tonight to win? To go on the road and beat the Packers?
Their offensive line needs to be really good. Really good. And they invested in their offensive line. They acquired Tunsil. But their offensive line last year was okay. Average to slightly above. Daniels saved the line. I mean, he rushed for what? Nearly 900 yards. I mean, and very few of them were designed runs. So Jaden bailed the offensive line out last year. Mark, I don't know if Jaden's skill set is good enough on its own to bail out the offensive line tonight. I think the offensive line's really got to step up tonight.
I agree with you. They need to get, McLaurin missed all that time negotiating his deal and sitting out preseason. He was a non-factor week one.
Redskins have a rookie right tackle. Think the Packers put Parsons on him?
Yes. And he's going to play a hell of a lot more snaps this week than he did against Detroit.
First off, will that in and of itself just force Washington to keep Ertz in? Will it force him to go two tight end more and favor wherever Parsons is lining up? That's the tight end that stays in, so they have 6 blockers, and then Ertz goes out.
Or is it a lot of the chip block on Parsons and use that tight end to take advantage of that spot?
And to me, for Green Bay, Jordan Love has to play a clean game. The Commanders rely on turnovers. The Commanders play a lot of bend but don't break. They're not going to be able to do to the Packers' offensive line what they did to the Giants' offensive line. Green Bay is going to move the ball, I believe, against Washington. I'm surprised the line's 3.5. And nobody's higher on Jaden Daniels than me. But I'm surprised the line is, quote, only, unquote, 3.5. I thought it'd be between 5 and 6.
Yeah, I'd lay the points. Right now, if I were betting the game, I would lean Green Bay in 3.5. Because of the reasons you talked about. Green Bay ran the ball well last week, too. I think they'll be able to run the ball effectively against Washington.
Now, I do think Green Bay was more fired up than normal for last week's game. I do. Detroit had beaten them, 5 out of 6 in the last 3 years. And, the Parsons trade, it's kind of like a big trade in baseball. I mean, the locker room's fired up because, wow, management really believes in us. We can win a Super Bowl. They went out and got Micah Parsons. Okay, we can do this. The Lions have had their mini run here. It's time now for us to have our run. I mean, we all should have expected a really good performance from Green Bay last week. Now, short turnaround. Can they actually be as fired up for the Commanders as they were for the Lions?
Do you go over under a half a sack on Micah? That's the number, by the way. -120 on over, -110 on under. With that rookie tackle, I'd bet the over there.
Yeah, I would too.
And I also think, look, he's going to get his sacks. He's a great player. I'm not taking anything away from him. But you made the deal. You paid him all the money. They did everything they could to get him a sack against Detroit.
Well, they left him in the game for a lot of snaps, number one. And then, what did he get it with about 6 minutes to go in the game?
Right.
Goff left the pocket against Micah Parsons. Uh-oh. This ain't good.
And I can't wait to see Micah trying to chase down Jaden Daniels. I mean, that's going to be fun to watch. It really is.
Here's what I wonder. Do they use Micah more as a spy? Because there are very few defensive players who can run with Daniels. It's
right.
Actually,
who can go east to west, end to end, and make plays. Absolutely.
It's actually, the Giants aren't good enough yet, but it's actually one of the things I thought of. If the Giants can ever get good again and they're taking on Washington, Carter can spy Daniels. He can spy Hurts for that matter. The Giants have to get good enough, but they may have the only guy in the division now that can spy the quarterbacks in Philadelphia and Washington. So it'll be interesting. Do you just go after him, or do you let your base go after him and Micah's waiting? Because Jaden does like to leave the pocket. And is Micah waiting for him?
Well, but technically, if he gets him behind the line, they'll count that as a sack wherever it is. And I think, to your point, when he does that and he does scramble, could be -2. They're going to count that as a sack. But I like Green Bay laying the 3.5 tonight based on their performance last week. We shall see. You know how high Miller and Moulton are on Jaden Daniels. We have been since before he was drafted. And we're not quitting now.
And I'm not a Jordan Love guy, although he played well.
Really well.
He did. And I said it in July and August that I'm not a Jordan Love guy, but there are a few people whose opinions I hold in high regard. And they have publicly talked about how what's been around Jordan Love has let him down as much as any quarterback in the league the last 2 years. So we'll see. I'm putting all the blame on Love as to why they can't beat the good teams. Well, they beat a good team last week, and he played really well.
He and they.
Right. And is it because he and they are now raising their game, third year together, blah, blah, blah? No. If so, I can't believe third year in a row they're the youngest team in the league on opening day. That's tough to pull off. That really is. And be good.
Correct. It's one thing if this was Carolina.
Right.
And they've been awful, and yes, they're young, but they're building. Green Bay never really had a down period.
No. Rodgers last year, they were 9-8. Jordan Love's first year, I think they were 9-8, made the playoffs, won a playoff game. Beat Dallas. Last year they won 11 games before losing in the first round to Philly.
So do they take the next step? A lot we'll find out tonight. It's early enough in the season that we don't think the Thursday night road game's a factor. JP Shadrick next.
Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, your home for all the football and baseball that September provides, plus a nightly food special. Got bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays, live music Fridays, karaoke Saturdays. Never mind the fact that Shoeless Joe's is going to celebrate Grandparents' Day, National Hot Dog Day, National Cheeseburger Day, all in the month of September. Food and drink specials during every NFL game. Shoeless Joe's, the official home for Ohio State football. Shoeless Joe's, good food, good times, good sports, in the Doubletree by Hilton. Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah!
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters, floormeisters.com.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Morning, JP.
Hello, Mark.
Let me get it out of the way now. What percentage of the snaps do you think?
That was so funny last
Oh.
week. And half the fun is seeing you guys react. Like you're falling out of your chair sometimes. It's hilarious.
Nice win. They did what they were supposed to do.
They did everything that they had promised this offseason they were going to work on.
Yep.
Physicality.
Yes, that's
takeaways, run the ball.
It's and we'll get into it, but we talked about last year they opened with the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And we thought last year before the game, Dave and I were their mirror images of one another. Well, it turned out we were right in all the wrong ways. And advance that a year, Miami still looks like the same soft, dysfunctional mess. And I know they played the Panthers, but they came out and Liam Cohn said, like he did in Tampa, we're going to run the football.
It's funny, though, early in the game, I mean, they threw it a bunch in the first quarter with Trevor. And then, then later in the day, I mean, they started just to pound it a little bit.
To pound them.
Yeah.
But that's, linemen love that crap.
Oh,
they
yeah.
want to go forward.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. Hi, Dave.
Morning, JP.
Good morning.
Boy, Sunday had to be nice for you.
Yeah, it's good. We were just talking a little bit about it, but just doing everything that they promised and smooth win and
happy callers, everybody in a good mood, people in the locker room wanting to do. You want an interview? Sure, I'll do an interview with you. Yeah. I mean, just
usually it's go blank yourself, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Or just crickets.
I will say, I don't know if it's their natural personalities. I don't know if it's Tony has it had anything to do with it, but man, this GM and head coach, they have no problem talking to the media. They don't say no a lot.
So they changed the coaches show here. It's no longer going to be the Liam Cohen show. It's going to be called Jags HQ. And every week we'll have Baselli and James Gladstone on our entire network for 30 minutes. And then the coach occasionally will swing in probably once a month. That's wow, okay. And that changed the other week, but it's pretty cool.
I mean, outside of Jerry in Dallas, honestly, seriously, how many presidents and GMs do the weekly, radio show in the NFL?
Right. Transparency, man, that they're all about that as much as they can without losing competitive edge, But in this marketplace, you need that. I mean, there's been a lot of distrust around here. So
Yeah, I'll tell you though, but they're swimming in the deep end. Okay, this town, they love their Jags. It's tough for the Jags. They want them to win, but man, in the 3 years I've been here, I have found out they love their Jags.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a Jags town. Yeah, you can see that in the TV ratings. Like everybody's like, oh, it's a college football town. Yeah, sure. But when that Sunday hits,
yep.
Now they might turn it off in the third quarter sometimes.
Well, I mean the product's been whew.
Yeah, but
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour on this Thursday, which happens to be September 11th. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. JP Shadrick is kind enough to join us at this day and time throughout the football season. Follow JP on X at JP Shadrick. Jags Radio Network, Westwood One, NFL and College, Touchdown Radio Network College. A busy guy. How are you?
I'm well. All's well here in Jacksonville when you win, you know. So it's been a good few days around here and really kind of businesslike. You know, they didn't run around like they won the Super Bowl. They have some perspective on what they are and what they're trying to build, and everybody's pretty happy right now.
They may not be acting that way. The owner seemed to be acting a little more that way.
Yes.
Scott was fired up with that W.
Forever, he says, you know, which is that's his personality, man. He just lets it rip, but he's a passionate guy. And anybody who says, there's a lot of people, I hear this, that don't, for whatever reason, like or respect Shad Khan and what he's done as the owner of the Jaguars. And there's no doubt he has not had a lot of winning results. But he has invested everything possible to try to make this football team successful on and off the field. And he's as competitive as anybody that walks in this place. So don't mistake that at all. He wants to win. And he puts his money where his mouth is too. The success, okay, it hasn't been there, but don't mistake it. He's trying to make the right decision, and maybe they have moving ahead.
What was different? We could make a quick joke and say, comma, besides the winning, comma. But in all seriousness, in terms of the style of play, what stuck out to you last Sunday that you're like, yeah, that was different than the last year and a half under Doug Peterson?
Yeah, you're hilarious, Dave, by the way.
Thank you.
You're quite I mean, we've known that for years.
No doubt about it.
The winning. No, the physicality of it. And it's something they promised all offseason. You know, last year we talked about this all year last year. They couldn't, 3rd and 1 felt like 3rd and 5. And I've used that a bunch. So that was priority number 1. Can they push some people around when they need to? And it felt like as the game went along, they did that. And Carolina stinks, but that defensive front does not. I mean, those guys are big. You got Derek Brown up there and Ashawn Robinson. Those are big human beings who played a lot of football in this league. So the interior line especially, I think, had a fantastic day. And that was great to see. And then they stopped the run. Chuba Hubbard was 8th in the league in rushing last year for Carolina. And the defensive front and the front 7 made that a priority. Like, this is where it begins. And that's, I think, the big difference. That what they did in the offseason, they brought in a new strength and conditioning staff. Everybody committed to the physicality part of this thing. And by the second half, you could tell quickly who was the more physical team that wanted to go push people around. They did it. So that's the big difference for me.
All right, just a quick question, and I don't know if it's really negative, but Thomas ends up with 1 catch. He had 7 targets. I wasn't locked into this game the way I was locked into others.
Wait a minute, Mark. Why not?
Well, okay, it was their opponent. But was it a Trevor thing? Was it a Thomas thing? Was it a Panthers defensive thing? He's their best receiver. 7 targets, you would expect 3 or 4 catches, not 1. Do you have any explanation for that?
Yeah, I asked Liam Cohen about this on Monday, actually, like 7 targets, 1 catch. How do you kind of get that going? He's like, well, we tried. I mean, they threw the ball to him 7 times, right? First play of the game. I mean, he's covered up on the deep go route down the side, and they tried to get it to him. Okay, didn't work. Trevor overthrew him a couple times. There was a drop. So I think it's all of the above, really, but mostly with the receiver and the quarterback. I mean, those are the guys. The coverage, okay, they threw the ball to other guys just fine. They just couldn't hit on Thomas. I think it's coming. I don't think they're going away from it, but I think you got to feed him. Early last season, they didn't feed him. I mean, they threw it to him like 3 times one game, and he had like 1 catch. And then later in the year, he got a lot of his yardage and receptions when Mac Jones was in there. So they've got to work on this together, and I think they will. I think for Brian Thomas, though, he's got to just not – his body language is big, and I think he handled it for the most part from what I could tell. Hey, it's a tough day at the office, right? They won. So can he continue to maintain his composure, continue to work with the quarterback and figure this thing out? I think they will. I think that it's too early to call it a day on Brian Thomas Jr. A big year's ahead for him.
New offense, 3rd one for Trevor. How'd he look?
It felt like he had pretty good command overall. Like there was 1 delay a game, but that's because they thought there was a spot. They were going to pause it. The officials, they didn't. It's not on the quarterback. Plays were in smoothly. There was not much pre-snap business issues. They made a couple. He could make some changes, did some things. He looked fine. He just misfired on a few of the throws downfield. I mean, he didn't step into the throw. It was intercepted by J.C. Horn, the one-handed pick, which was probably could have been a touchdown because Travis Hunter was behind him by about 2 steps. So didn't finish that one. There were a few like that. Overthrew Thomas, like we talked about. But overall, okay, they're moving the ball. They're ahead of the chains for a lot of the day, and it just felt okay. It felt fine. It felt like it's supposed to feel, like an old glove that you've worn for a long time. And we're not quite to that point yet. Maybe that's overselling it, but it's 1 game against the Panthers, and there was just no confusion, right? It felt like everything was in order.
I don't know. I throw my old golf gloves away. It's Florida, for crying out loud. An old flip-flop maybe be more appropriate. All right, I can say this, and it actually applies. On to Cincinnati. So the Bengals, when you look at – I don't think much of their running game. So Jacksonville doing great against Carolina with their run game is one thing. But how do they get after Burrow? This line has not been good. Burrow has been vulnerable. He holds onto the ball. He's sacked a lot. We know he's terrific. They could have lost to Cleveland. This is a game, Jacksonville, obviously, with their win. They're going to be confident. They think they go 2-0. What's the defense have to do to slow Burrow down?
Well, now, going back to Burrow, right, he's been sacked 199 times in 70 NFL games. Think about that. It's a lot. It's a big number. I mean, the league record's like Aaron Rodgers, 500 and something, and Burrow's only in, year 7, year 6? That's a pace they've got to slow down. The pressure's got to come from the interior of the D-line. If you get in his face, push him off the spot, and don't let him get out of the lanes outside, I think it's got to come from the interior. Eric Armstead needs a big day. Devon Hamilton with the push from nose tackle needs a big day. Colin Saunders when he is in there in the same spot. I mean, those guys really have to make it a problem for Burrow to stand back there. He can't just stand back there and pat the football, and then you're going to have less of a chance in the back end to slow things down. To me, that's where it begins. And then on the back end, all right, you're going to be facing the quarterback a lot. I think it's a lot of zone. Like that's kind of what they want to do. And it's all hands on deck. So this is where I think Travis Hunter is going to get some more reps on defense, it feels like. And Liam Cohen said this, not a surprise. Just as it goes, week 1, okay, let's slow it down. And the way that Carolina plays, well, this is not the way Cincinnati plays. They want to throw it around with Burrow and the big money guys. And it all starts with that interior pressure. If he has time, Jamar Chase is going to get some. And then how do you respond to it, right? That's another thing that this Jags team under Doug Peterson didn't do well, when things went bad against them, when Jamar Chase has a 70-yard touchdown, all hell broke loose, and they couldn't figure it out. Maintaining composure after that and then going back and getting your own. That I think, is what we're going to find out this week.
What was the official statement, reasoning behind getting rid of Tank Bigsby? And let's just say there now becomes one injury in the running back room. Maybe you didn't need Bigsby now, but, what will the room look like with one more injury?
Well, it would look like a room with 2 backs instead of 3 if there's an injury. And then, but now to your point, right, there's young guys. They've got 2 draft picks that they brought in, Bashal Tootin, LaQuinn Allen, and they are very confident in what these guys can do with this setup. I mean, Tootin, they feel like, is the future, I think, long-term. Can be that every down guy at some point in the future. Good in the passing game, more physical than you think. And then LaQuinn Allen will hit anybody in the mouth he needs to. Like, he's fantastic in pass protection. So they like his game there. And then, of course, ETN, he's showing up like he did on Sunday. That's fantastic. It's the final year of his rookie contract, year 5. So I think they're going to run it into the ground. Like, he's going to get the football a lot as long as he's still producing. And we'll see. Now, if he passes Eric Dickerson or something, then you got to talk about the future. I would be surprised at this point if he's back in 26, but we also have 16 games to go in 2025. So let's hold the phone on that one. But I think for Bigsby, they were just confident in the performance of those 3 guys. Okay. And James Gladstone's not scared to put young guys on the field or have them in a position to go play early in their career. And we've seen that, and they could get 2 picks, the 5th and a 6th next year. The 5th could become a 4th if somebody else in the league produces and has like 8 sacks. I forget who it is. Something odd like that. So that means 13 picks next year for James Gladstone. And they don't have a first-round pick. So they're stockpiling picks and can do a lot of things, and they're comfortable right now in the running back room.
Cleveland turned it over a few times with Flacco, but they didn't run it at all. How important? You mentioned before we were on air that Jacksonville started throwing the ball and then were able to pound them with the run. Do you predict the same type of philosophy, or do you think Liam Cohen wants to slow the game script down a little bit and run more early?
Yeah, I think this Jags team is going to run until somebody stops them. I think that's the idea, and then take a few shots and hopefully hit a shot or 2 in a game down the field when you have the opportunity with Trevor to throw it. So that was the successful part of last week's game. Keep rolling that ball out there and running it and as much as you can until somebody stops you, and then you can control the game that way. Absolutely. And keep Joe Burrow sipping Gatorade on the sideline. That'd be fantastic.
Jags Radio Network, college and pro football for Westwood One, college football for the Touchdown Radio Network. He's JP Shadrick. Follow him on X at, get this, JP Shadrick, Shadrick.
Imagine that.
Listen, I'm going to date myself here. My mom just loves listening to your voice. I'm going to give you her number. You can just read something out of the phone book to her, and it'll make her day.
I love that. Absolutely. Whatever I can do to help the ball club.
JP
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, Installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Cortec. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters. Floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Envisioned in January, okay?
Damn it. Really should have had that Shad Khan thing up for him. That's my mistake. I couldn't find it on X, and I can manipulate things better on that than I can on other platforms. That was so fantastic. You missed it. So when JP first got on, during the commercial break, I said, so let's get it out of the way now. What percentage of snaps is...
So we have to remember we did this segment. We did not ask him.
I know. What would I have? Nothing. To be honest, I'd have blocked it and laughed at him. Because I can't hit him back because it's a felony. Even if he hits me first, you can't touch someone over the age of 65, and I never would. I'm too old to fight. I've got 2 compression fractures in my back. I got other crap going on. I just was... I just couldn't believe how cavalier he was with F-bombs at someone when you're that. And the kicker is he had the Boston hat on with the 4 logos tied into one. It's like, well, you just proved everything to all of us now, didn't you? And then I leave with my new favorite criticism. I don't swear at people. I just looked at him after I said, thank God you're over 65 because I'd drop you like a stone. And then I looked at him and he just kind of looked at me. I said, obviously you are not a nice person. My favorite thing to say to someone. Swearing makes you look dumb. As much fun as it is, and I love to swear. I love it. I'm good at it. I can throw expletives together in good phrasing. But you are not a nice person. I think makes someone, at least when they're walking in, think, oh my God, what did he just say to me? And for the record, everybody, David said, I banned him. I had enough. I've got enough crap going on in my world right now that I'm not going to take abuse for 4 hours. I had enough. I blocked him. And he called me a coward yesterday. Only I could see it. Dave, only we could see it. You can't see it in the Twitch chat, but the platform we have, I could see it. I didn't respond. I think it's laughable that somebody with a nickname and no picture can call me a coward when every way to get a hold of me on earth is readily available.
Hit him straight, Robes. Have fun.
Nice, Robes. No, it had a Florida tag and a mass hole driver.
Was he handicapped, though?
Yeah, he had a handicap. Yeah, he had a handicap placard and jumped out of the car sprightly as hell.
Yeah, there's a few people in Florida who have abused that.
Oh, yeah. Horribly.
Yeah.
Lock the door. What? Where? Hell, Adam, I don't know how much of a Quebec rush there's going to be.
Yeah.
Saw an article yesterday, like golf courses that are in like New York and stuff by the border, their rounds have dropped like by 80, 90% because they used to get all this traffic from Canada that's not coming.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour on this September 11th. We spent a little time at the very beginning of the show talking about today, 24 years ago. And also, since Mark has an 11-year-old daughter and a 26-year-old son,
Yes.
that how it has hit him over the years that neither, how those of us of a certain age, basically probably, I don't know what, 32 and older, probably.
Yeah, thereabouts.
Okay. That remember, where they were and, can recite many aspects of that fateful Tuesday, but that for his son and daughter, it's something that literally they but are being taught in school.
And I'm fascinated because my daughter said they're going to talk about it today in school. I am going to be grilling her when I pick her up to find it. I do every day, but it's usually about math and science and language arts and those things. Today, I want to know what went on in social studies. I really do.
I want to know, did they have a video? Was it a documentary? Is it something that's, I'm curious. Also, I'm curious. I would love to see her textbook. Then again, do we have textbooks anymore?
No, we do not. She doesn't. I don't know at other schools, but she does everything on an iPad.
Well, I would love to see what, her curriculum. I would love to read it. I'm very curious, those of us of a certain age. I mean, think about if we had to write about that fateful day. And as you're sitting down to write about it, you're going, now remember, you're describing what took place to people who weren't in your shoes. They didn't watch it on TV. You have to assume they have not seen a documentary about it. Go.
And I remember because at that time I was working for the Everblades, and our weekly staff meetings of all the directors of departments were Tuesday mornings at 9. And I got to my office around 8:30. I had a television in my office. And I had CNN on, and they're reporting on the first plane crash.
Yeah,
and I walked
8:46.
I walked into the conference room and put CNN on. And we never had the TV on when we were having these weekly meetings. And I said, a plane just, and I called my buddy whose brother worked in the city. I said, did you see what happened? A plane hit the towers. And I said, is Jeej working in the city? And he said, I don't think so, blah, blah, blah. And then I walked into the room and turned it on. And then obviously we see the second one.
Right.
And I'm in full sports mode at that time. The Carolina Hurricanes are having their training camp at what is now Hertz Arena. They were flying out that day. We were going to have a preseason game. And I just remember not fully understanding everything that was going on in the moment. We're like, oh, wow, they've shut down airports now, my sports brain went on. It was actually the Oklahoma City bombings happened the day of a playoff game that I was working in Nashville. I was at lunch with my friend Kim Jump, who worked for the team. And we saw it at lunch and went, oh God, we've got to change the whole open to the game. We've got to do this. Are we going to still play? All of those questions. And that's where my brain went, because I'm fully absorbed in my job at that point. And I just remember, I don't think Carolina ended up coming the next day. We had to cancel the preseason game that was scheduled with either Florida or Tampa. I believe it was Florida. And then we had Carolina held an inter-squad scrimmage that we charged $5 for and gave all of the proceeds to the Red Cross or whomever. But it's selfish, but I remember what I was doing, because that was my life then. That was every part. Me, I didn't care about the outside world then.
I was a local sports guy for ABC7 in Fort Myers, and I remember there was a buzz in the newsroom Monday and Monday night because the president was going to be in Sarasota. So, there's a lot of planning. You got to get Secret Service clearance and what have you. And, obviously live shots in the morning on Tuesday and all that. Now, I'm a sports guy. I'm not involved. But I just remember, there was a lot. There were meetings. There was planning on Monday. Tuesday is going to be a big day because the president is,
70 miles away. Right.
Right. And obviously then we all know what happened. I'm on the phone with my mom when the first plane hit. And I remember, because growing up in that area, there were small planes, like,
single engine,
on
2
board,
engine,
right? That hit the towers in the early days of the towers in the 70s and into the 80s. And so I remember saying to my mom, and she's like, yeah, I haven't heard, blah, blah, blah. And then we're on the phone with each other at 9:03 watching the jet hit the second tower. And I said, I love you. I got to go. And hung up and immediately called the local news anchor for NBC, who was a good friend of mine, Craig Wolf. And I said, what are you doing? And he said, well, I just kind of get up and what have you. I said, shower, bring 2 shirts, 2 ties, and 2 jackets with you and get to the newsroom. And you're going to be there for at least 14 hours. Go. And obviously, we didn't have sports at 6 o'clock that night. I did 6 hours commercial free on local radio in Southwest Florida, noon to 6. Tom Abraham, it was his birthday. He was the morning guy. He ended up doing 6 hours in the morning. Normally he did 3. So he did 5. He did 7 to noon. And then he handed it over to me, and I did noon to 6 commercial free. And I ended up anchoring the news at 11 o'clock that night, not sports, the news. We had an anchor change, and we didn't really have a male anchor, and they thought we needed 2 anchors for the 11 o'clock news. So I anchored the news the night of September 11th. I have that tape. I haven't saved much in my career. I do have the newscast the night of September 11th.
By the way, just not trying to be rotten to you right now and taking a very serious subject and going Moulton techie, might want to get that on digital.
Oh, there's no doubt it needs to be updated. In fact, the first place I take it to may go, yeah, you may have to go to a better place than me.
In fact, I would recommend bringing that tape, asking the folks at either ESPN or CBS in the truck and saying, can you do me a solid?
It's a good point. I should show up one time and say, can anybody do anything with this?
Yeah.
Please?
Right.
No? Nothing?
And I remember, and I did, I never listened to any, and I was in the office, and I had a young son at that time, but I remember what a job Howard Stern did that day.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe, and he's the best interviewer that there's ever been in this business. Maybe his best day, in fact, his best day without question.
So at 6 o'clock, I'm driving home. There's no one on the roads. It was very eerie. And I go to Publix to grab something. And I walked in, and we were very friendly with the baker because we had a young daughter. She was almost 4. And obviously he gave her a cookie every time we went
free
in.
Cookie at Publix. Kids love that stuff, man.
And he looked awful. And I said, hey, are you okay? He said, my sister works in the towers. I went, oh, God. I gave him my number, on a card. And I said, call me if you find out. So when we did the news at 11 o'clock, early in the newscast, I turned to Sharon Gregory, my co-anchor, and I said, hey, went to, a local connection, and he still has not heard about his sister. In the 20 minutes that followed before we signed off, he got a hold of his sister, and obviously she was okay. And that I was able to say that near the end of the newscast.
September 11th, for those of a certain age, we know everything about that day. For those younger, they're learning about it. Shows how old we've become. Miller and Moulton, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day win. That's next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, your home for all the football and baseball that September provides, plus a nightly food special. Got bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays, live music Fridays, karaoke Saturdays. Never mind the fact that Shoeless Joe's is going to celebrate Grandparents' Day, National Hot Dog Day, National Cheeseburger Day, all in the month of September. Food and drink specials during every NFL game. Shoeless Joe's, the official home for Ohio State football. Shoeless Joe's, good food, good times, good sports in the Doubletree by Hilton. Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
Left Twix Publix is home of the Pub Sub. It is the greatest sandwich in grocery store history. Since I told everybody last break that I blocked you and you're coming at me again, you have a fake name, you jackass. You said you were at the summit and had a drink with me, but didn't introduce who you are. That's a coward. Okay? I'm done with you, dude. I'm done. Go away. You're a clown, and you are a coward, sir. What's your name? Your name's Irish Football. Okay. Go smoke some dope in Denver with your 32 houses and have a nice day. F you. And for all you listeners, if you think I'm a coward, please tell me that you think I am. I'm fine. Enough of you have texted me personally telling me to block him for months. Funny thing is, I blocked you and you still listen. Nothing's funnier than that. Gotcha. Gotcha. Rent free, bro. Rent free.
No, I have. Jules, I haven't had a pub sub in forever. I really haven't. Did have some good Lebanese food yesterday, though. I will say, though, Jules, there are for a cold sub, Mario's to me is far superior than Publix. You know what? I don't mind Firehouse. I can't say I've had one of those in a long time either. Jersey Mike's, I always go to the same. I always think the one by your old house is the best Jersey Mike's.
I agree with
I
that.
think Jim does the best job. It's not knocking the other ones. Of all the ones I've been to, I feel like I get an ounce or two more meat at Jim's place than I do at the other ones. But I got to say, you got like from a Italian sub now between Little Sicily and Uncle Rico's. Damn. And I mean, damn. Hey, I just sent you a text.
I know. I saw it. I'm thinking.
Me too.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes left in today's show. If you missed Roy Cummings, JP Shadrick, or any other segments that you normally find appealing, make sure you go to millerandmoulton.com. All our guests join us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Don't forget to vote in our poll question. Pretty simple. 3 teams who won their division last year. 2 of the 3 considered big-time Super Bowl contenders. All 3 lost week 1. Between Kansas City, Detroit, and Houston, which one are you most concerned about for the rest of the year? Vote accordingly.
45% of you right now saying Houston, Detroit in second with a little more than 34%, and you're trusting KC more than any other team, just 20% of you not trusting the Chiefs.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
We start today in 1789. Alexander Hamilton is appointed the first Secretary of the U.S. Treasury. The first time Old Susanna was sung, the Stephen Foster tune, was today in 1847. Yes, David, I went Stephen Foster tune, and it was sung in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The first true self-service supermarket, the Piggly Wiggly, opened today in Memphis, Tennessee in 1916. Babe Ruth hits number 50 during his record 60 home run season in a 6-2 loss to the St. Louis Browns at Yankee Stadium today in 1927. Today in 41, FDR orders that the U.S. Navy can fire upon any access ship found in American waters. Orders them to shoot on sight. The Beatles' album Help goes to number 1 and stays there for 9 weeks today in 65.
Today in 1967 on CBS, The Carol Burnett Show premiered. Pretty long run. Pretty funny damn show, too.
Mm-hmm.
My parents loved that show. Today in 1970, Ford introduced their first subcompact model in North America, the Pinto. Lee Iacocca knew it was going to blow up, but didn't care. Today in 77, arguably one of my 3 favorite Christmas songs ever was recorded. Bing Crosby and David Bowie doing the duet of Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy. A couple of U.S. Open notes for you. Today in 83, Connors retains his title, winning over Lendl in 4 sets. Bageled him in the 4th. Today in 85, Rose gets hit number 4192 against the Padres, eclipsing Ty Cobb's record. I told my wife you would know the answer to this question. Who was the hit against?
Eric Shao.
Yeah, see. In fact, I said my $100 to your 10 that David knows the right answer.
Did she make the bet?
No. And I don't blame her. 88, Mats Wilander wins his only U.S. title in his 7th Grand Slam, beating Lendl in an epic 5-set match. It was the longest final in the event's history.
Lendl had beaten him the year before in the U.S. Open final, and I think Wilander became number 1 in the world by beating Lendl that day.
Today in 94, Agassi wins his first U.S. Open. 99, Serena wins her first Grand Slam title and first U.S. Open, obviously, beating the then number 1 Martina Hingis in straight sets. Obviously, in 2001, we are all aware of what happened. We've talked about it extensively throughout the show, a tragic day in American history. And it was 3 years ago that Carlos Alcaraz won his first major at the U.S. Open. Bear Bryant, Ed Sable, and Tom Landry would have all celebrated birthdays today.
Wow.
There's a damn who's who of football.
That's some football royalty right there.
Damn right. Mickey Hart of the Grateful Dead and Dead and Company, which still toured all summer at the Sphere. The drummer, one of the 2 drummers for the Dead and Dead and Company, is 82. 82 and still performing. That's amazing. Harry Connick Jr. is 58. Ludacris is 48. Ed Reed, 47. And Zay Flowers is 25. What did I miss, David?
No, you hit it all.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
You're going to have to work with me a little bit today because, see, yesterday, as we told you, we didn't do the 9 o'clock hour. I had some things I had to attend to. And I prepared the good, the bad, and the ugly, and today was the day when for September 10th and didn't need it. Did all that work, David, and I didn't need any of it.
I was going to say, we were talking before the show yesterday, and you were talking about birthdays and what have you, and
Right.
I'm like, doesn't he know that he's not doing that today?
It's just a habit. I do it
Right.
the night before. It's just part of my routine. What a moron I am. For the good, we go to Lake Park. On Saturday morning, an 11-year-old girl named Mia Garcia was rescued from a lake by a woman who heard her cries for help. Mia was collecting shells with her little sister, slipped into the water, and was unable to get out on her own. Mia has autism, knows how to swim, but struggled because the water was slimy. Bridget Addison, who was at a nearby pavilion, heard Mia's screams, ran to help. Despite not knowing how to swim, she said, I saw her over in the water, so I just ran. She got her to an embankment, got a little skinned up in the process, but everybody is okay.
Thank goodness.
No kidding. Well, police in Germany were called to an apartment building on the report of someone repeatedly ringing doorbells. Thank God they just called the police, because apparently now if you play ding dong ditch, you might get shot. But the culprit was not a kid pressing the doorbell. It was a slug. The slug apparently just kept scooting over the doorbell, making it ring over and over and over again. And finally, the ugly. We'll stick in Florida, where in Lee County, deputies were met with a surprise entering a Lehigh Acres home after a wild hog had burst through the sliding glass door and was standing in the living room. The cop on the body cam can be heard say, "Geesh," which you hear the female resident of the home say, "Right? That's a big, mean, feral animal." The deputy in a radio transmission said it's like a 300-pound sow. The deputies tried to coax the wild hog out of the home. You could hear him saying, "Easy, easy." That's when the hog charged the deputy. They tried to use a rope to get it out of the home. At the end, the hog had enough and split on his own. And that, David, is the good, the bad, and the ugly. On today, Thursday, September 11th, here on Miller and Moulton.
WNBA regular season ends tonight. Playoff seeding in 2 of the 4 games is at stake, but all 8 playoff teams have been determined. Playoffs start on Sunday for those interested. Baseball, 9 games today and tonight, 3 of them in the afternoon, including the Rays on the south side of Chicago, taking on the White Sox at 2 o'clock. Rays and White Sox, if you want some afternoon baseball, at 2 o'clock. Astros, Jays on MLB Network at 3. Then I believe Tigers, Yankees on MLB Network tonight. Fox, most places, will be airing the Mets and the Phillies. Mets playing while both the Reds and Giants are off. And the Phillies, who have all but wrapped up the East, trying to keep their arch rival Mets out of the playoffs. They've done a very good job this week, winning 3 in a row. If by chance you don't get the Mets and the Phils, you'll get KC and Cleveland. 2 football games for your enjoyment tonight. The college one starts first at 7:30 on the 4-letter network. ESPN has NC State at Wake Forest. The home team is getting 7.5 on a short week. I'm tempted to take it, even though I know they're not good.
NC State's been scoring. That would be my only fear there. They're not a good team either, but they were able to score against East Carolina. They should have gotten beaten that game, and they scored against Virginia pretty easily as well.
Got to figure this got to be the highest profile game Wake Forest is going to play all year, right?
More than likely.
And national television.
Absolutely.
Thursday Night Football. NFL, 72 hours later. Let's get week 2 started. Commanders and Packers at Lambeau Field.
Herb Street and the dog.
Right. Yes. Not
By the way, on that note, how is Herb Street not getting an endorsement deal for one of the 2 like dog foods that you put in your fridge? Because there's 2, and they're spending large sums of money advertising, whether it's the Fresh Pet or the other one. I don't use either, but I'm just saying, wouldn't you go after Herbie and his dog?
Sure. I do think, though, I'll bet you would cause problems with the networks. Like right now, to put Herb Street and his dog on the air, it's just, it's free, if you will. The networks are not crazy about giving away free advertising unless they're getting the check. So I wonder if he signed an endorsement deal with one of those companies, if the dog would stop appearing on TV.
Okay. But I mean, the networks would still be getting the money because the networks wouldn't be, they'd pay Herbie to be the endorser. They're still buying the commercials from the network.
Okay.
But I'd have, they got the cute ads where you got dog food in there and they throw the friend or the girlfriend out.
Right.
Herbie could do one in Tallahassee. I think it would be great.
And by the way, we are making sure that we're talking about an animal. I believe he's got golden retrievers, right?
Yes. Great dogs.
Okay.
Love them.
Right. We are not talking about a sideline reporter. So when Mark said Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, and the dog, he was talking about an animal, not a sideline reporter. Just want to make sure that, okay. Commanders and Packers, Green Bay, a 3.5-point favorite tonight. I think Miller and Moulton both would lay the points.
I'd lay it.
We don't get to officially make it part of our picks, although I guess we could. We could, if we like a Thursday night play enough, we could say, hey, this is going to be in my Fantastic Five, blah, blah, blah.
No, I'm overruling that right now. Thursdays are not part of our agreement. We picked 5 games on Friday that are to be played Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Gotcha. Okay.
And apparently the dog's name is Peter. So for all of you that are upset that we did not know the dog's name, I will say it's not a great name for a dog. Peter? Petey? Pete? Peter? Too formal. I mean, think about Smokey and the Bandit. If that dog would have been named Frederick, it would have had nothing. Fred. It worked.
Right. True. Freddie.
If Frederick's out swimming in that pond,
right,
and he's chasing him around,
I hear you. Yeah. No, I hear you. It is a good point by you. Why he doesn't have a endorsement deal with a pet food company.
That seems like an easy one for me. The guy's lugging his dog all over the country, flying private. I mean, you could have the dog on the private plane eating the fresh pet. Holy cow.
I mean, we don't even like, the whole him and his dog on TV thing. We think he's using the dog to, be more popular, to be brutally honest. But, we're
particularly when you replace the dead dog with the new dog. So
in an hour.
I mean,
in an hour.
Have remorse for the last dog? This thing's been, holy cow.
Right. Brought me to tears. Meanwhile, here's Peter. Right. Well, couldn't have been that broken up. I mean, my goodness. I mean, it's like the first dog died on the front 9, and I went in, I got a Fresca, and for the back 9, here's Peter. I mean, don't tell me how much the first one meant to you. Okay. I think you're more unhappy that you 3-putted 9. I mean, come on. But, all right.
Football Friday tomorrow. That means Lee Sterling to make his picks. Pat Kerwin will join us to talk the National Football League. We will make our picks. Gotta have a big week. Gotta have a big week.
Hey, I went from 0 wins to 2.
Right.
I feel like I'm on fire.
You are.
And by on fire, they mean when I make my picks, they throw a flame at me. Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, your home for all the football and baseball that September provides, plus a nightly food special. Got bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays, live music Fridays, karaoke Saturdays. Never mind the fact that Shoeless Joe's is going to celebrate Grandparents' Day, National Hot Dog Day, National Cheeseburger Day, all in the month of September. Food and drink specials during every NFL game. Shoeless Joe's, the official home for Ohio State football. Shoeless Joe's, good food, good times, good sports in the Doubletree by Hilton. Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
Honey, you want to come out? I haven't seen you since Glass Doctor installed our custom shower enclosure.
No thanks.
Well, you can't keep eating breakfast in the shower, and laminating your magazines is getting expensive. You remember we have guests coming over tonight, right?
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to see the shower.
It's our neighbors, and I highly doubt they want to be hanging out in our bathroom.
The shower's so good, you'll never want to leave. Visit glassdoctor.com today. and schedule an appointment online.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
So I asked him at Floormeisters, hey, what do you want me to tell everyone for September? He says, well, tell them I just bought 100 pallets of Core-Tech. So I've got so much of it, I can keep the prices low. Plus, installation's always available. Delivery's always available. And tell them Floormeisters has colors, 15 of them that no one else has. Floormeisters in Naples, next to Costco, whether it's carpet, tile, or Core-Tech. The best flooring, best service, at the best prices. Floormeisters. Floormeisters.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton